Yes, knockout, and I suppose really looking forward to seeing Limerick today, how they'll perform, because, up to the Clare game, you could say they were nearly the team of the year, coming from 8 points down above in Salt Hill, beat Galway, come up to Division 1A, unbeaten then in normal time until they came to Ennis to play Clare, beaten Tip. The game against Cork, I think, was the highlight, when they scored 28 points, something we never expected a display like that from so early in the year especially. They are inexperienced in the sense that they don't have that backbone of veterans that most teams have, especially down the centre. They've only 2 really outfield players that you say were really experienced. And then they're up against the most experienced, the ones who know how to do it. And Kilkenny remind me of, I was at today's World Cup final day, but I was in France once at the World Cup final. France and Italy were playing. And there was a headline in the paper, and I don't know much French, L'Italian c'est la scorpion. The Italian is the scorpion. Kilkenny are the scorpions at all. You're going along fine, and next thing you get this sting, a goal, and you're gone. You're dead. So how will they cope today with the youth, the speed, the enthusiasm of Limerick, and then how will Limerick cope with that vast amount of experience that Kilkenny have?
Brendan, Ger mentioned there the game against Clare for Limerick, but in actual fact, I presume Limerick will take some note of Clare's performances, that particularly obviously this weekend.
Yeah, I do. We've seen a lot of peaks and troughs throughout the championship this year. Limerick, like Ger said, everything was going great. Oh, God, they'll be in a final maybe against Galway. Next thing you have the dip. Then you have the under-21 where a couple of their stars didn't perform. Kyle Hayes got red card, anything taken off. And so then momentum starts to get sucked out. But John Kiley's had enough time, I think. And Ger touched on there, when you play Kilkenny, it's not just a physical battle, it's a mental battle. And how much can you believe that when you go 5 up, you can make it 6, 7, rather than thinking, like everyone else in the stand will be thinking, oh, don't be long now before Kilkenny claws back. So I think how they control their emotions today in Limerick is going to be important. Young, fresh team, play with freedom, but when it comes down to home straight, like I know in 2009 out there, you start looking to the side going, well, maybe today is the day. If you think that, you're gone. And I'm sure they'd have worked on that during the week and the weeks leading up to the game, Limerick, to say, look, if we get these guys near the edge of the cliff, just keep going and going and going.
Push them
be mentally strong. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing with Limerick. Munster Championship did really well, but can they now build and really, when it's needed now, have the belief to push on?
But I suppose, Ken, the whole point about it is at this stage of the championship, it's beginning to weed out, and you're getting the best teams left. And a lot of it, I guess, is down to performances on the day.
Yeah, look, I suppose every team in the championship had a flat performance, and that was Limerick's probably against Clare, and we probably read too much into that. And I was at the Limerick Waterford game. I came out of that day in Gaelic ground saying these lads will have a massive say in the championship, and I still think that. I said they're a young team. Cusack Park's a very hard place to go, and we're crowded out, and Clare were up for that game, and they really pinpointed that game for a victory. Today, as Brendan said, is massive, but the spine of the Kilkenny team is very, very strong and very experienced. They've done it countless times out there, on the pitch, and they've the medals to prove it. And it's up to Limerick to match them, and as Brendan said, if it comes down the home straight and the game is there for the taking, can they push on? I played against them 4 or 5 times in the championship. Well, I was there 3. I was once out there, I don't know where I was, but I never got the better of them. I know how hard they are to beat, so when you give a chance to put the nail in their coffin, you have to do it, because these fellas won't give up, simply won't give up.
That's the challenge today, obviously. Now, last weekend, of course, we enjoyed a great match at Semple Stadium with the Leinster final replay. Joanne Cantwell was there to enjoy that, and no doubt Joanne is looking forward to more of the same this afternoon.
Certainly am, and of course we all know that it's Kilkenny's second week in a row making that short trip to Thurles. Funnily enough though, their Munster opponents today, it's just their first visit to the home of hurling this championship summer. Now, most of the team speculation this week, of course, is centred on Kilkenny and those 2 medal-laden substitutes that came on in that Leinster final replay and made goal-scoring impacts. One of them was named in the starting 15 a couple of days ago, and Brian Cody has made a number of significant late changes to the team today. So let's get all the very latest on both teams for this afternoon's All-Ireland Hurling quarter-final with our big match commentator, Ger Canning.
Thank you very much indeed, Joanne. Yes, there is one very big news, and that is that Richie Hogan, former Hurler of the Year, is included from the outset for Kilkenny. More about that in a moment, but Michael is with me here. What about the changed weather conditions? I put away my factor 50.
Yeah, you won't need it today. The rain coming down fairly heavy here at the moment even, so the pitch is going to be very, very greasy, still very firm underfoot, so that's going to be a big challenge for the players to get the right studs out there today. But Richie Hogan in, Walter Walsh out, I think a massive loss with his physical presence, but young Limerick team and the experienced Kilkenny, as the lad said, really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Let's check on the teams then, where Kilkenny have a very good history of playing here. They've won their last 6 meetings between these counties, but it's just a second time for goalkeeper Owen Murphy to face Limerick in the championship. Last year he kept his goal intact, of course. His number 3, Pádraig Walsh, will have fond memories of the 2014 All-Ireland semi-final when he scored twice against the Shannon Siders in his days as a forward. Now in the half-back line, listed alongside Killian Buckley, is a man who's coming in today, and that's Robert Lennon. He could easily play full back, and you might find Pádraig Walsh playing out on the wing. The centre-field pairing this afternoon consists of Conor Fogarty of Erin's Own and UCD student James Marr. Now, the second change I've been mentioning there is the introduction of Richie Hogan into the forward line, and that's in place of another Richie Lahey. While leading the chief attacking line will be Colin Fennelly, replacing Walter Welch, who misses the match because of a groin injury. As ever, the last line of defence for Limerick will be 28-year-old Nicky Quaid from Effin, playing in his 31st championship match. Sean Finn, who was injured playing against Clare, is restored to the full back line, playing alongside Napieshig's Mike Casey. Centre-back Declan Hannon, this year's captain, scored 5 points in Croke Park against the Cats in a miserably wet semi-final, you may remember, 4 years ago. Limerick look for consistency from their centre-field duo. That's Dara O'Donovan and Cian Lynch. Centre-forward Kyle Hayes scored a goal in the first attack against Carlow last week, while he also got the equaliser against Cork in the last puck of the game. Sharing the workload with him is the number 13, Aaron Gillan, capable of putting up big scores even against Carlow last week. He wasn't letting up and hit them for 1 goal and 6. Well, that's the team news. Let's hear from the managers now. They've been talking with Joanne.
Brian, first of all, some significant late changes to your team. We see Rob Lennon coming in. Does that mean Pádraig Walsh is likely to start in the wing today?
Not necessarily, no. Doesn't mean that in particular. No, he's coming into RHI, he's coming into defence, and Richie Hogan starts as well.
How big a call was it to bring Richie in as well as Colin in from the start, given that they're obviously making massive impact when they come in the second half as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, the panel is up for, the team is up for grabs every day, and we work with the panel we have, and obviously matches are coming thick and fast in that, and lads, from the point of view of it, injuries or semi-injuries or whatever, sometimes we just look at the overall thing. The reality now is we're using 20 players pretty much every match, so whether you start or whether you come in during the game, it's just part and parcel of it.
You obviously know all about playing 3 games in a row, so how do you exploit that from a Kilkenny point of view today?
Again, I go back to the fact that for us it's all about ourselves. It's about our performance, and and anything outside of that, I know that we played Cork and it was their 3rd game, for example, and we had a fantastic battle with them, and I didn't see any fatigue on that occasion either. So we're not going to be lulled into any sense of false insecurity or security by the fact that Kilkenny are going out for the 3rd Sunday in a row. All these players love playing matches, and they're very good at getting the recovery done. So I don't think Kilkenny will be any different.
And of course, 2 of those games for Kilkenny, the last 2 were in glorious sunshine. We're not liking this wet stuff coming down from the skies in Thurles today. But do remember, as Ger alluded to, that 4 years ago, one of the great modern games of hurling happened in torrential downpour up in Croke Park. It featured Owen Larkin and Kilkenny just narrowly getting by James Ryan and Limerick. And James, that has been a common theme recently, Kilkenny squeezing out Limerick. So how huge an obstacle in a hurdle is it for Limerick to get over one of these games?
Yeah, look, as the boys were saying above in the panel there, we have a very young team. I don't think these boys fear anything. They have a lot of All-Ireland success here in Thurles. I don't think it's about who they're playing today. I think it's about themselves. Aaron Gillan, Seamus Flanagan, these boys, it's only their 1st year playing championship. So I think after the Clare game, they had a good month's championship up to that. All they want to do is perform today, and it's about their psychological focus today. Can they get back up on the horse and perform again?
Well, Owen, last year you had quite some harsh words for Limerick and for John Kiley as well. Has that changed, or has your opinion of Limerick and under John Kiley changed?
Yeah, absolutely. This year, I suppose, Limerick have kicked on another gear, and they're taking the next step, I suppose. And as James said, they don't fear anyone. They're just going out doing their own thing and seeing where it takes them. And they're after having a fantastic year up to now. So Kilkenny will be a little bit worried coming into today, I think.
Now, when you were winning your 8 All-Irelands with Kilkenny, it looked like you did have this psychological edge over teams. When you went out to play the likes of James's Limerick, did you have this extra pep in your step where you felt that you weren't going to be beaten by anybody?
Yeah, well, we had that confidence, I suppose. We all had confidence in each other that, if we performed and perform to the best of our ability, that we would win at the end of the day. You know, we felt it was always in our grasp and we had control of things. So I suppose we had that psychological edge going out on other teams through that period. But I think it's a new Kilkenny team now, and you know, they're a young Kilkenny team, and they have to establish that for themselves now.
Just one last one to James Ryan. If Limerick are going to do it, what's going to be the most significant area of the field for them to get on top in?
Our most consistent line all year was a half-back line. They have the most championship starts, they're most experienced. After Brian Cody's after done a number and is now starting Richie Hogan in there. Declan Hannon and TJ Reid is going to be a massive battle there today. Walter Welch is injured. He got 4 points in play here last year. They have to find him 4 points from somewhere. And I'd just like to see the young fellas up front. As you said, Kilkenny have the tradition. Brian Cody don't lose too many quarterfinals. I'd like to see the Limerick Force just take them on. Play without fear. We've nothing to lose here. I think all the pressure's on Kilkenny. I'm looking forward to the game, and everyone in Limerick is.
Absolutely, everybody is looking forward to the game here, and there's so much tension, and nobody seems to know which way it's going to go.
I certainly don't, but I presume the lads here beside me have a better idea about that. Ger, those changes that Kilkenny have made, now after the performances last weekend, it's hardly a surprise. But the thing about it is, they're going back, if you like, to older lads to find a way forward.
You go back 2 years to Thurles, the replay against Waterford below in Thurles. What Brian Cody did that night, he placed all his biggest players around the middle third because he knows how vital the middle third is.
Yeah.
So he has Richie Hogan in there now. Maybe he'll be in a central position anyway. We all agree on that.
Yeah.
He'll be centre forward or out on the middle of the field. Robbie Lennon has come in. Now, interestingly, Robbie Lennon last Sunday went full back for the last 10 minutes of the game and Pádraig Welch came out. So maybe he'll put Pádraig Welch out in the half-back line as well. We don't know. He was asked there. He gave no reply.
Joanne was asking him,
but the thing with Brian Cody, when it becomes real knockout, he puts his biggest players, the ones he can most rely on, in that middle third. And you can bet that's why Hogan, TJ Reid will be there. Now there's also the possibility of TJ going in full forward because there's a perception there that the Limerick full-back line is there for the taking if the ball goes in. So it's it adds to the intrigue of this game, but now, the big problem now he hasn't the alternatives in the subs that he had up to now, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's all your eggs in one basket. Get ahead. They might be a bit tired. Get ahead and try and hold it.
And somebody like, say, picking up on that point, Brendan, Richie Leahy, like people were saying, like he's one of the new generation of fellas who are coming in, and yet he's been replaced today.
He has, but it's knockout hurling at this stage of the game, so there's no tomorrow if you're bet. So I mean, Brian Cody, like Ger says, goes with the guys around the middle. Rob Lennon, big man. Hegarty, big man. So the conditions as well will play a little bit into this.
Sure.
It's, you know, there's a lot of premium put on winning primary possession. If they can stop the Limerick half forward and put that doubt in their head, and if I think TJ would probably go full forward for me, it's what I do if I was in Brian Cody's shoes, put pressure on that Limerick full back line and say, oh God, TJ Reid's in there, what are we going to do now? Many's the time Henry went in there, their marquee player goes in to just test the nerves a little bit of that Limerick full back line.
All right, lads, well, it is a third tough weekend in a row for Kilkenny. Can they rise to the challenge, or will a fresher Limerick make their way to the semi-finals?
And they're using that very well. They move the ball really well in towards their forwards, great interplay between them. They have practiced this. This is the big improvement from last year. You know, Keane Lynch coming in on the ball from midfield. The other area where they're really improved is in their work rate, you know, especially up front. The work rate of the forwards, not alone in scoring, but in harassing and preventing the defenders from clearing the ball. That was a huge feature, especially in the game against Cork. Now, I know Cork were a bit tired on the day, and it led to them drawing the game there. You see Kyle Hayes in the end putting it over the bar. So that's all coming from the energy they have from youth. Now, one man, I suppose what most people think is they lack is a marquee forward. Now, this fella, Aaron Gillan, that you'll see here, he's probably their best. He's not there yet, but he's probably their best chance of getting that marquee forward that every championship-winning team needs. Now, where they have to improve is in defence. You know, they were just, it was like Bab's sheep in a heap here when you see them. You know, 7 fellas against 5 clear defenders, and they let all ball out to Tony Kelly. Now, watch it here from behind the goals. Now, you can't leave that kind of space there. There's no one directing traffic. There's no one calling out what positions to take up. Tony Kelly drifts away. Now, imagine TJ Reid, Richie Hogan will be there today. Imagine giving them that kind of space. So they have seen all this. They've had 4 weeks to work on it. They've got a good one. That's the great thing about this championship. They have 4 weeks to work on it, and you can be sure they have studied all of that, and they'll have tried at least to remedy that for today.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt that every hurling fan recognises that this is a Limerick team with potential to go forward. But of course, Kilkenny, by contrast, as we keep saying, they have the old guard.
Yeah, I suppose, look, in 5 of our 6 championship games so far, they've been under serious pressure. At times look dead and buried. But the 3 probably main traits or characteristics of the Kilkenny team, of any Brian Cody team, is honesty, work rate, and the sheer refusal to accept defeat. And I think that this team has an abundance. There's TJ here. That was a 38th minute, the first point from playing that game. We're 9 points down, but they just don't give up. And Padraig Welch kind of sees TJ. I want to get on the act, he's kind of saying here, an inspirational point from Padraig. They just will not, as Jackie Tyrrell said over the last 2 or 3 years, any Kilkenny player with a Kilkenny jersey will die with his boots on, you know. And here's Richie Hogan here. He's hounded by Galway lads. That could have been the spark for Richie to kind of perform a small bit better last week. He's been hampered with injury over the last couple of years. He looked a bit tetchy, looked like he's lacking confidence, but it was a class ball. Yeah. TJ again, when the best players will produce their best play when time is needed the most, you know. And TJ Reid point there was very similar to Joe Canning's point the year before in the Ireland semi-final. Here's Joe, I think it's 1-9 to a point. Any other team is gone. They're gone at that stage, but Kilkenny are never bet, you know. And Colin Felly, who rattled Dahi work last week, chipped in with 1-1. TJ again, who draws in defenders. I said, showing leadership, demanding balls, taking on the Galway defence. Richie kind of sneaking back, being a bit cute. 9 out of 10 forwards would have rushed into that kind of that old melee there, but Richie stands back a small bit, an easy enough goal for him. And I said, if these lads, it's the spine of the team that's keeping Kilkenny in it, and that's where the problem lies, I think, Michael. It's the old guard, it's the lads that have it in there. It's up to new lads to step up and produce the goods today. It's knockout championship. It's the 7th game of the championship. Other years they're after winning 2 Irons at this stage, you know. So can they go to the well again? Yeah. That's the big question. But these lads from 3 up, from Owen Murphy up, are being inspirational all year, but can they go to the well again when it's needed the most, you know?
Brendan, we will look at your assessment of Limerick in a moment, but before that, another change on the Kilkenny team. Pat Ling in for Ger Aylwood, and significantly, this is another change down the left wing. That's 3 now.
It is. I think it's straight out of the Ger Loughnane playbook that 10 minutes or 5 minutes before the off, you start to rejig the deck. You know, next thing you know, Brian Cody's going to have 16 in the parade, and we have the total set then from there. But yeah, it is. I think it's just a sign that sometimes players need to be told at the last minute, and Ger will appreciate more of that than me as a manager. And maybe this is what's happened in this case. He said to Ger Aylward, look, all week we're going to name, you're not going to start, take one for the team here. And Ling is in now, you know, and he'll certainly be given that extra bit of energy maybe to that inside line, and something that Kylie wouldn't have planned for.
Yeah. OK, let's come back to Limerick, because, and Jared obviously knows Limerick awful well, down through the years, the perception that you get off them so many times is you don't know what kind of season they're going to have. They're up and down and back and over and everything else. This present Limerick side, talk to me.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with their forward line. I mean, John Kiley would have seen below in Nolan Park last year. They weren't dynamic or strong enough. But you can see here, this is the first minute where Morrissey puts the ball in front of Gillan. But Gillan has been marked. Normally now, Morrissey would have taken a swing at that and tried to put it over the bar. They hit 12 wides last year in Nolan Park in the first half. You need height also. But when Hegarty comes down, watch the way he shortens the grip on the hurley. When Kilkenny get you down, they suffocate you, so you have to move the ball quickly. That's something that he has in his locker. But an inside man then is needed. And what happens when there's an inside man that's dynamic? Your half-back line start to look up. And they say, right, where is he? He's going to be moving, and there he is, Flanagan. Now, in this occasion, he comes off the Cork defender, and the Cork defender is saying, OK, he's going to salute back out around where Gillan is moving, but no, he takes the near side. This is a man, Flanagan, who backs himself, even going into a corner that he's going to get out of. And again, you need to defend from the front, as Ger touched on in his piece earlier on. And there's nothing better when I'm down 880 yards down the pitch watching my forward line, especially inside, harassing. And once he takes the ball off Cahalane, he has that composure then to look up and bring other players into the game. It's key. Now, when the ball is played into him here, I like this from him as well. He goes with the hurley. If you notice here, he takes the ball down with the hurley. Kilkenny players will want to give you the nudge, and they'll want to put their hand in so they're in control of the breaking ball. But if you're an attacker against Kilkenny and you bring the ball down with the hurley, at that stage you're in control of the game. So he brings an awful lot to the party. He'll have to play really well, Seamus Flanagan, today. Yeah. If he does, I think he brings that X factor to the forward line that could spook Kilkenny and be enough, I think, to get Limerick across the line.
Ger, it is not too many months ago since we were looking at Kilkenny in the league, losing their opening games in the league, and everybody's saying, where are Kilkenny going? What's the future for them? Now they're 70 minutes away from an All-Ireland semi-final.
But sure, that's Kilkenny for you. You know, I suppose the big factor in their first few games was TJ Reid wasn't playing, and that is one of the things about Kilkenny. You know, if you've taken their last 3 games, I think the most they've got is 6 points from play from the starting 6 in the 3 games against Galway. Now that's the reason for all those big changes today. He wants his forwards scoring from the start, not relying on some fellas coming in. You know, so, and he wants his defence to be extra sound. So he has obviously done massive work in this. You know, with Pat Lean coming in, a real hard worker. This guy now. This is a very, very hard working player. So he knows in the conditions today it's going to be dog eat dog out there, and it's going to be in the trenches. And he has the men picked to fight in the trenches.
All right, lads, thanks for all of that. Now, by the way, if you would like to hear commentary on this match in Irish, details on how to access
Well, Kilkenny were keyed up and anxious, that's for certain. They were into their positions even before the anthem was completed. 3 changes then. James McGrath, the referee from Westmeath, taking charge of this. He was here for the Munster final, of course, just a couple of weeks ago. Cork against Clare. It's Limerick who won the toss, so they're going to play from left to right in the first half. The referee wants everybody back. They're not going to do so. Game gets underway anyway, and a place in the semi-final at stake here. Straight away it's Martin Keown getting that ball across towards TJ Reid, who goes in hot pursuit after this one. Picking it up, however, and going near the sideline is Sean Finn, and the linesman on the far side has his flag raised. The linesmen today are Paul O'Dwyer from Carlow and Diarmuid Kerwin from Cork. Interesting matchups.
Just looking out there, Richie Hogan has gone in centre forward. Pat Ling is out in the wing with Martin Keown on the other side, and TJ Reid has gone corner forward, which I don't think anyone was expecting. He's in there on Sean Finn at the moment. And we see Rob Lennon has lined out at left half back with Pádraig Walsh in at full back, so it might be a change later in the game, but not at the start.
Well, there was a free given for that, foul by TJ Reid, hit in by Diarmuid Burns. Nicely in towards Flanagan, manages to get loose here. Seamus Flanagan, the full forward, trying to recycle it, but doing so gives it away to a Kilkenny player, and Rob Lennon is able to get it out there as far as James Marr, and Marr able to complete it all the way up down along the field there towards 2 men wearing yellow helmets. One of them is Colin Fennelly here, slides in, slides over the sideline, and then shoulders Mike Casey at the end of it all. Nobody wants to yield an inch.
Yeah, well, I look at a ball out to the wing. Fennelly on fire when he came on against Galway. I felt he was pushed in the back there. He went down over the ball. The ref maybe couldn't have a clear line of vision at it. Very slippy, and we're going to see that. I think you're better off playing the ball more direct down the middle and out towards the sideline, because it's going to break out over the line.
Mike Casey operating at full back, then a Pierre Shigman and UL student. And he's going to get the possession here from that sideline ball, hit to him by Richie English. Down there it goes, collected well. Aaron Gillan sending it across towards Seamus Flanagan, looking for a second possession, doesn't get to it this time. Pádraig Walsh is able to take it away. Out here as far as Pat Ling, one of the 3 men introduced late by Brian Cody into the Kilkenny starting 15. Declan Hannon, hand passing it away towards Richie English from Doon, left corner back. Has a player loose in the middle of the field, that's Dara O'Donovan, able to get to it, unable to bypass 2 or 3 Kilkenny players who are standing there in good positions. James Marr able to sweep onto that one, way up once again towards TJ Reid, operating in the corner as Michael Dagna was mentioning, and causing a bother or 2 here for Sean Finn. Finn does well, looks stylish and very comfortable getting that ball, but then hits it out over the sideline, and it'll be Richie Hogan who has the option of taking the sideline cut. Richie playing in his 44th championship match this afternoon. Some intriguing battles in there in that full forward line. Richie poised to hit this. There was no way, I suppose, he could be kept off the team after his real tour de force in the second half against Galway 7 days ago. Hit in well, flies to the air, but flies wide as well. First wide of the match. Well, he's a real extra plus for Kilkenny, having him available from the outset. He's had so many injuries.
Absolutely. I thought the last day he missed a couple of chances. He obviously has not match fit, but a brilliant asset to have back. He played really well on Gareth McInerney here last week when he came on.
Graham Mulcahy stealing a march on Paul Murphy, hitting his shot and hitting it wide, so it's a wide apiece. Be interested to see how Graham Mulcahy manages this afternoon at just 27 years of age. He's kind of the elder statesman of the forwards, all very young players. Kilkenny able to go short, straight to Paddy Deegan. played midfield last year when they played Limerick in the championship. That's brilliantly caught there, superbly done by Dan Morrissey. One back once again by Kilkenny, into the middle here to Richie Hogan, taking the pass, shooting from 50 metres out and shooting it over the bar. Richie Hogan getting the opening score of the match and doing so in the 4th minute.
Yeah, and the suspicion, Jared, that the game last week would have brought on Richie Hogan, you know, a ton, and that's a brilliant start for him. And Kilkenny forwards moving all over. TJ Reid got the right corner forward now.
Here's Cian Lynch operating in midfield this season with great effect for Limerick, giving it off to his partner in midfield, that's Dara O'Donovan, bottled up by Kilkenny players. Eventually coming onto it here is Declan Hannon, had been tending to stand back a little bit and give space to Hogan earlier on. This time he gets that ball forward to Seamus Flanagan, sends it in over his right shoulder and sends it over the bar as well. Teams level. Good start to the match.
Yeah, you can see it's the tactic from Limerick to get the ball into Flanagan. He's moving left and right, he's bringing Pádraig Walsh all over the place, and they're half forward and playing way out the field and trying to leave as much room as possible. Killian Buckley trying to sit back in front of the full back line, but he's been dragged out the field by Kyle Hayes as well, so that's their tactic, get it in quick to that full forward line.
Owen Murphy targets Hogan at centre half forward this time, but it's won instead by Cian Lynch. Went back deep, got it down there towards Aaron Gillan, sweeping across to try and take it was Paddy Deegan, kicked ahead there by Gillan, tries to go chasing after it himself. Deegan on the ground. Free awarded.
That's a great pick up by Paddy Deegan. Just watch him going back here. He gets a little nudge, but super pick out, and Seamus Flanagan came in and gave him a bit of a nudge.
This free will be taken by Owen Murphy. Murphy, who is the scorer already of 7 points in this year's championship. Well, now this time he'll be trying to get it up into the half-forward line. Long distance from goal. All the way up towards TJ Reid, his target this time. Reid going across, Richie Hogan there as well. Trying to prevent it from going out over the end line was Richie English, losing it. And they look at the linesman, and the linesman says it's going to be a line ball for Kilkenny.
Yeah, Jared, that midfield battle, you know, Cian Lynch has been in sparkling form all year. Here's TJ now with a quick one, a great ball across the field to James Marr.
Great improvisation here to get it into the midfielder, James Marr, and Marr knocks it over. First point of the match for him, and Kilkenny are back in front again.
What a piece of skill here from TJ Reid to pick out Marr. He took it very well into conditions and over the bar. And I've just mentioned that midfield battle against Galway. Kilkenny very slow to start in the middle of the field. They come into it in the second half, so that's another big match up there between the four of them.
Killian Buckley lost his hurley, still hasn't got it. Oh, he's got the ball anyway, now able to use it. Very resourceful, getting it out to Conor Fennelly. Conor Fennelly and Fogarty getting it away downfield. Colin Fennelly now, from Fogarty to Fennelly. Losing it eventually, and the referee has blown his whistle, saw that the forward was being held there, so it's going to be a free from the 20-metre line. A little wrap-around challenge that time, the referee James McGrath is indicating.
Yeah, if you watch here, great catch by TJ Reid, throws it inside, and Michael Casey does very well at full-back. He held up Colin Fennelly. I didn't see a free there, unless it was on TJ Reid when he was giving off the hand pass and he played the advantage. But that was great play by Michael Casey. It looked like a goal, and that's why Kilkenny, they've isolated Reid inside to ask questions. The Limerick full-back line looked very dodgy the last day against Clare when we saw them down in Ennis, and Kilkenny taskmasters at doing this, and putting TJ in there, a corner forward wouldn't have been expected.
He's also got a slight height advantage. He's a very tall player, TJ Reid. If you're standing alongside him doing an interview, you'll realise what a fine tall man he is. TJ Reid then looking for his first of the afternoon, and to put Kilkenny 2 points in front. From 20 metres out, he could hardly miss and doesn't. Very bright start by Kilkenny. People were wondering about the 3 games in 3 weeks, Michael.
Well, that doesn't apply to Kilkenny. I think they'd hurl every day if they could.
I'm sure they would. That's in over the head this time of Robert Lennon. Collected by Buckley in as far as Pat Ling. Nice little ball inside here for Fogarty. Now, James Marr, way into the corner, asking far too much, and it's still in play. Sean Finn might have hesitated for a moment, but he did really well in his battle there against TJ Reid. Very well done indeed by the cornerback. Into Dara O'Donovan. Across the field. Good vision to pick out Dan Morrissey. Down along the line it goes here. Garrod Hagerty, partly blocked, comes across towards Cian Lynch instead. In there to try and win it for Kilkenny was Martin Keown. Keown sets off here. Hagerty's after him. feeding it forward here. Colin Fennelly trying to get at the end of this one and keep it alive. And in came Richie English. Timely intervention. It's gone for a 65 amid a welter of excitement.
Yeah, look at Limerick, too slow, far too slow for my liking getting that ball out. 4 and 5 passes before they got to the middle of the field, and Kilkenny closed them down. That's really right. I think that was out wide, but the 65 has been given. But you know, Limerick have that full forward line moving, but they're not giving the ball fast enough into them, and they're taking too much out of it at this stage.
Well, it's going to be the acid test of this Limerick team, regarded as the young generation, the golden generation. 11 of them played a part in last year's match in Nolan Park, where they lost by 3 points on that occasion. And remember, Shane Dowling, it doesn't start today for John Kiley's team, got 8 of those scores. Well, a lot of them were from frees, and TJ Reid is the master of taking frees for Kilkenny. He's just put one over from 20 metres out, so his first 65 of the afternoon. Man who's got 2 goals and 57 points now in this year's championship. They're all pressure scores for him. Nothing comes easy. But we always expect TJ just to be able to turn it on, and this time he hasn't been able to do so. And the ball has gone wide, and that is a second wide for Brian Cody's Kilkenny. From the puck out, batted back down by Keoghan, Martin Keoghan, then missed. And TJ Reid comes in, and there's a clash there with Darragh O'Donovan. An accidental clash, but the referee's taking the notebook out. TJ Reid,
yeah, if you watch it here,
who's injured,
head high, and
well, how will James McGrath deal with this? He's dealing with Darragh O'Donovan. I'm sure he will say there was an accidental collision between the two of them, because a number of players had anticipated where the ball was going to go and didn't quite get to it. Then they were both racing for it, and at the end of all of that, it's going to be a yellow card. TJ, I can tell you, is back on his feet once again.
Yeah, you know, you could be sent out. It's a rash challenge. It's high. You watch your TJ's down over. He comes straight into the head, and you've seen players getting sent off for that.
Yeah, it looked a lot worse when you look at it in replay, didn't it? Free to Kilkenny once again. TJ Reid's going to be the taker. Well, having just missed one, hopefully totally recovered from the knock to the head.
And after a knock, a lot of times the free takers missed him, but TJ straight over the black spot.
Much, much better this time. No problems whatsoever. So that is 2 out of 3 frees taken, converted by TJ Reid. They lead, as you can see, by 4 points to 1. And Limerick need to try and get the next score now, rather than allow Kilkenny to open up a big gap.
Yeah, they got the quick puck out away. Their long puck out's not working. Martin Keoghan, Pat Ling working way back the field. They got a short one off that time to Dermot Burns, and he switched the play, but straight out over the line again. I think that ball should be more direct, down to Seamus Flanagan.
Few early problems for John Kiley to address. Here's Richie Hogan, scampering away from any challenge that might come to him, aware that he might be hooked as well. After him there went Kyle Hayes. They still managed to keep that ball alive. TJ Reid on his hands and knees, gives it away in the end to Dan Morrissey of Limerick. Dan stands his ground, gives it out to the wing here. Tom Morrissey, his brother, is waiting for it, and down into the inside forwards it goes. Down to Flanagan, his 3rd possession in this match. Taking on Porrick Walsh, sending it across here to Aaron Gillan. Great chance! Oh! Should be playing in the World Cup final. That one's gone over the bar, however.
Well, you can see, Jared, the problems have been caused in there by that full, particularly Seamus Flanagan, every time he gets a brilliant ball, and what a catch by Gillan, and a boot. And look at Owen Murphy again. That is an incredible save, one-handed save over the bar. And that's given Limerick a boost now. They needed that badly. They started poorly, but they need to get that ball into Flanagan. He's a real threat inside in Porrick Walsh. His movement has caused them all sorts of problems.
4 points to 2. Pressure back on Dermot Burns this time from Pat Ling. Raiding. Up here it comes. Laid off well towards Billy Ryan. And Ryan sends it in, and it comes off the post, comes back down. Quickest to react there was Sean Finn, but chasing after him is TJ Reid. Reid keeping this ball alive, anticipating the possibilities here, and then recycling all the way back towards Conor Fogarty, who didn't get to it, but Garrod Hagerty did. He's outside the line. He's been flagged over there, and it's got to be a line ball for Kilkenny.
Garrod Hagerty not happy. A very poor miss there from Billy Ryan. Started at full forward the last. It didn't go well on Dahi Burke, and really should have just tapped that one over the bar.
That wonderful catch again by Gillan. Lost the hurley, opted to kick it, going for a goal. Some save by a wonderful goalkeeper.
Incredible save.
Richie Hogan to hit in. and take it back. 3 players go after him, they can't get to him. He's so elusive, so skillful, works so well in very, very tight spaces. Limerick tried to close in now, try to win possession, but it's Robert Lennon, the UCD student, hand passing it off here as far as Richie Hogan. Under pressure, got his shot away and drove it over. It's a lovely score, and it's a second point for Richie Hogan, and he's already making a huge difference.
Well, that's a brilliant score. The hook coming in there from behind, but ignored it. He has such confidence in his own ability. He's getting all over the field, and he suffered with a back injury all year, but he's looking really, really sharp today.
Played very, very little for Kilkenny up to recent weeks. From that puck out, Declan Hannon lands it inside there, but again to nobody in particular, and Pádraig Welch have to go across, sweep it up, mop it up and take it out. Then running into Graham Mulcahy. Played forward and lost. Cian Lynch has it, gives it into Kyle Hayes, and Hayes shoots and scores. Great point, exactly what Limerick have required. Kilkenny had possession.
They had, and I was going to say that Brian Cody absolutely fuming on the sideline with Pádraig Walsh. No need for him to solo with that ball. Could have passed it outside or could have struck it up the field. Ran into trouble. Cian Lynch, lovely hand pass out to Kyle Hayes, and that'll settle him. He hasn't been in the game. They need their big players like Hayes, like Lynch to get more involved in the game.
Great pace to the game. What a catch that is by one of the smaller men's down there. And the small man who got it is Richie Hogan. Lands it in and over the bar onto the netting. It's an incredible piece of play. Astonishing stuff by Richie Hogan, who's got 3 points from play already after a quarter of an hour.
Look at the
ominous for Limerick.
The time in there, Jared. Small man, you know, in the middle of it. Declan Hannon must be 5 or 6 inches taller. Goes up, catches it, and then swivels and over the bar. And here's Martin Keown, who's been very involved in the game. He's picking up an awful lot of breaking ball.
And gives it in as far as Colin Fennelly. Blocked down by Mike Casey. After it here comes Sean Finn, taking it up. Darragh O'Donovan able to look up now and place this ball. Needs to be accurate, needs to put pressure under that on that Kilkenny back line. Aaron Gillan was trying to get to it but couldn't get to it. Instead it's Paul Murphy who gets it out, helped here by Pádraig Welch. Down into the corner, this time coming across to take it is Billy Ryan, the 21-year-old. Hit the post earlier on, and this one he strikes away to the right-hand side, and that is Kilkenny's third wide of the match.
Yeah, he's just shown his inexperience there again. He really could have got a shot off his right hand and over the bar, but he turned back onto it. He obviously favours his backhand and took it wide, and you know he just needs to score to settle him, but he's showing well for the ball.
Real nervousness by Limerick there. They should have been able to get that ball away, Dan Morris in particular. But back they come once again, Kilkenny. Colin Fennelly beats his marker, gets his shot and strikes it over. The points are coming from everywhere, and it's 7 points to 3.
Yeah, Fennelly's movement is causing all sorts of problems. In fairness to Michael Casey at fullback, he's held him up well on a couple of occasions. He blocked him well, he held him out for a goal chance, but Fennelly shown really sharp. And this is what great players do. Fennelly and Hogan will not be happy that they haven't been in this Kilkenny team and they're getting their chance today.
There is that wonderful strong nucleus of this Kilkenny team right down through the centre, and they mean business. And now as far as one of the newcomers, James Marr, down to Colin Fennelly, but he can't get to it. Getting there first is Mike Casey. Trying to place this one, gave it away to Pat Ling. Withstands the would-be challenge of Declan Hannon. Knocks it off the ground. Hannon tries to get to it and does really well. Good play by Declan Hannon. Off his left-hand side. Never gave up on that one. Deserves great credit. Down to Darragh O'Donovan. Moving it forward. Slipping it inside towards Cian Lynch. Lynch can look around now into the path of Flanagan if he can go after this one. But getting there ahead of him is Killian Buckley, the Kilkenny captain. Knocking it back to Paddy Deegan. Deegan here with his goalkeeper Owen Murphy's already made one astonishing save. Trying to keep this ball in play will be Richie Hogan, but grabbing it in the air is Dan Morrissey instead. Into the middle it comes to Declan Hannon. Remember, he started this move effectively by stealing the ball away from a Kilkenny attacker a moment ago. All the way down it comes to Graham Mulcahy, and Mulcahy puts it over the bar. That's the beauty of hurling, from one side of the field to the other, from an opportunity for Kilkenny at one stage to a point by Limerick at the other.
Yeah, Jared, brilliant score, brilliant catch by Dan Morrissey, who's having a great year for Limerick. Lovely hand pass, and you see the catch here again, a brilliant catch, passed it into Declan Hannon. He played a lovely ball, just the wrong side of Paul Murphy, and Mulcahy picks it up. And here's Maher on his own now in the middle of the field.
James Marr, inside his own 65-metre line, 2 against 1. Over the head that time of Billy Ryan, but on towards Fennelly. Danger here for Limerick, most definitely. Colin Fennelly looking up, sizing up the angle and putting it wide at the end. Well, they've missed a few chances, but they've taken some great scores so far, and they lead by 3. And the players who are the established figures in this Kilkenny team have come up trumps for Brian Cody.
Yeah, I think Limerick will be happy enough, Gerby. You know, Kilkenny have most of the ball, they're 3 points down. Every time Limerick get the ball up there, they're tending to score.
They'll depend on this man, the experienced Graham Mulcahy. Back as far as the wing half back, Diarmuid Burns. Great striking, great point. His first. Wonderful stuff by the LIT student.
Yeah, and this is something he does probably better than any wing back in the game. He's a massive long-range striker, and that's gone over the bar with 30-40 yards to spare. Great score.
Well, it's turning out to be a rip-roaring and brilliantly exciting quarter-final of the All-Ireland Championship. The winner to go forward to the semis. The other we won't see in action again until maybe January, February of next year. TJ Reid wants to be involved. James Marr most definitely is, and finishes superbly his second.
Yeah, and I think you just see the power of TJ Reid. He's been held up by 4 Limerick players, but he gets his arm free and gets it out to James Marr, and that's his second score. A lovely point in the middle of the field.
Well, there's no doubt that Limerick in the middle of the field have need to buck up a little bit. Darragh O'Donovan was booked a little while ago off the pace. Cian Lynch hasn't been involved sufficiently so far. They need to get more involved. They're only 3 points adrift, however, and it's anybody's match.
Yeah, Limerick struggling a bit with their own puck-outs. You know, that's a couple gone out over that line. They've tried 1 or 2 short and they haven't paid off. And that looks like Liam Blanchfield warming up already. I'd say Billy Ryan in trouble, I would say. He has had a couple of chances and maybe just a little bit of inexperience. He's going to go for the juggler and bring in the big man.
Well, it's a day for ruthless decisions. It's about surviving in the championship. And Aaron Gillan has lost his stick, wants to survive, needs to be able to hand pass it off to somebody. He's got a free anyway. He was being held there by Paddy Deegan. Gillan from Patrick's Well. Yeah, can be a match winner.
Well, the 3 players in the full forward line for Limerick, they're living on scraps, but they're very, very dangerous looking. They're very lively. I saw a little pull across there, but Graham Mulcahy showing well, Flanagan showing well, and Aaron Gillan out in front there. And you know, they have pace in that full forward line, but they're just taking too much time in my book to get it into them.
They've all scored so far. Gillan might have had a goal, but for that brilliant save. And it'll be Gillan now to take it. 1-6 against Carlow, 8 points against Tipperary. He's tormented opposing backs this season and made life hell for some. Here he goes, looking to put this one over, boost his confidence. The lead is now back down to 2. I think the fans who've made their way to Thurles amid all the rain this morning after the wonderful weeks we've had of limitless sunshine, enjoying the fair. About 20,000 people are here. That's taken by Declan Hannon with a lot of difficulty. Anybody would be in difficulty against Richie Hogan in such form as that which he showed in the opening 15 minutes. Cian Lynch now battling to get more involved. Gives it out here. Taking it is Tom Morrissey, switching the wings. Back to his fullback, Mike Casey. Liam Blanchfield seems to have gone back to his seat again. He was ready to come in, I think. Well, he's away on the left-hand side, I can tell you, out of the picture, warming up. The others have been told, buck up or else. Joey Holden drives it in there towards Billy Ryan. In there as well to Colin Fennelly. TJ Reid, and that's too far ahead for Pat Ling to get at the end of. And it's already a 5th wide.
Yeah, you can see him acknowledging Brian Cody. Brian not happy there. Normally TJ just tapped that one over the bar.
Brian Cody looking very edgy on the side of the field as Declan Hannon advances, shoots, scores. Superbly done by the team captain.
Yeah,
he scored 5 points against Kilkenny when the teams met in 2014.
A huge score psychologically for him. Richie Hogan, 3 from play, giving him a thorough time there. And that's Diarmuid Burns now and Declan Hannon after coming up with 2 massive scores there from the half-back line.
So 3 against 1 for the 2 of them in their private duel. Away by Richie English, the left corner back, down to Seamus Flanagan. Gets away from Pádraig Welch, strikes it in over his left shoulder, off the post. And they managed to get it away out of danger after all of that. Up towards the wing forward, but taken instead by Diarmuid Byrne. Darragh O'Donovan now pointing it down towards Aaron Gillan. Dropped it, but able to get away again. Keeps it away from his marker. It's very near the right-hand upright. Not much in that, but the umpires wave the white flag, and Gillan has got a 3rd point.
Yeah, well, that's a number of high balls that have been rained down on both Dan Morrissey and Diarmuid Burns, and they're cleaning up. They're very, very strong, big men in the half-back line, and they're really getting on top of that half-back line now, and that's why Limerick are back in this game.
Yes, they're level for the second time in this match. Killian Buckley through the centre to James Marr. Thought about the short hand pass. Now he gives it out here as far as Joey Holden. Holden into top of the left. Richie Hogan steals across over there. Gets there ahead of his marker. All the way back to Pat Ling. Looks up at the target, but that is off. Very much off. And well away into the crowd at the Killiney end. Missed opportunity.
Yeah, and look, Martin Keown, a great worker, Pat Ling, a great worker, Billy Ryan all over, but their scoring, their finishing is not there at the level. They're very inexperienced players. You know, it will come in time, but that's a bad wide, and they need TJ Reid and Richie Hogan to be taking those shots.
Limerick have been much more economical, just one wide against Kilkenny's 6 so far. Pressure on the Kilkenny half-back line. Real pressure, and Flanagan is coming through. He's got a support player. It's Gillan, and he didn't give it to him. The goalkeeper able to make the intervention and bat it away, and Kilkenny can now mount a counter-attack. There was a real goal chance there for Limerick to take. The Kilkenny back's not out of the wood just yet. Cian Lynch taking the pass from Kyle Hayes. Back in it comes. That's struck by Gillan, and it's struck badly, and it's gone wide.
Well, that was a massive chance. Seamus Flanagan took the... He could have went himself or given the hand pass, but he passed it over his head. Oh, Murphy was out. You watch it here. He came through. He just need to execute. He passed it to him. Murphy was off his line very quickly, and goal chance gone.
By now they could have had 2 goals, I think, Limerick. But instead, it's 8 point apiece. As we speak, Martin Keown is trying to put Kilkenny back in front, but not with that shot. Martin Keown, a youngster, he's only 19 years of age. His dad, Liam, won an All-Ireland in 1993 for Kilkenny against Galway.
He did, in a tough, tight marking wing-back he was. I heard him many a time, and it's a free injury there. There was a foul just before that on Colin Fennelly, so the referee played the advantage. Martin Keown hit the wide, and it's called back now for the free. The
use of the advantage rule has been a real extra plus, I think, in the game of hurling this year. Used very well by officials. TJ Reid, 2 pointed frees already by TJ. Started explosively, then got a knock, but very much in form with the frees again. His third, Kilkenny lead 9-8.
Yeah, TJ Reid got out centre forward down. Richie Hogan got in corner forward, just changing things around a little bit, maybe giving Richie Hogan a breather.
9 minutes to go to half-time. From the puck out, all the way down towards Kyle Hayes. Jumping there ahead of Killian Buckley. Not easy to win a ball like that against Buckley. That is superb. Magnificent score by Kyle Hayes. This guy's really coming of age this season, only his 2nd championship year. He won it in the air, and he struck it with great confidence and great conviction.
Yeah, he's a big man, and you know, to me, he's an outstanding centre-back, but Limerick have him at centre-forward. He does a great job there as well. That's a savage score. It's his 2nd of the game.
Pat Ling trying to put Kilkenny back in front again with the next attack. 9 apiece. Referee, however, saw steps taken, and it's going to be a free the other way. Free to Limerick. A Limerick side that has not beaten Kilkenny in the championship since the 1973 All-Ireland final.
Yeah, you see Pat Ling here, nice touch, gets it down and picks it up here, and just maybe a little nudge there. I didn't see steps. He got rid of the ball. It came out of his hand. I think that's a harsh call.
Dermot Burns to take the resultant free for Limerick. Swinging it away over here towards Flanagan, who takes up good positions, but there was a clash there with his own man. It was Graham Mulcahy who was also anticipating that, but it might come good yet for the Shannonsiders. Oh, that's a super ball. All the way across to Garrod Hegarty. He's moving forward menacingly, hits it really, really high inside the left-hand upright, and he's on the scoreboard as well. There is very little separating these teams. Limerick go in front by 10 points to 9.
Yeah, but it's Flanagan again. His vision, incredible. A brilliant ball across the field, and the movement of the Limerick forwards are beginning to tell. They're creating more and more space against the Kilkenny full back line in particular.
Paul Murphy driving it out. This is going to be won by Dan Morrissey. He's the left half back. Declan Hannon, not a great hand pass, picked up here by Conor Fogarty. Should have been able to do more with that. Instead, it's the industrious Kyle Hayes getting it back to Mike Casey. Once again, Dan Morrissey, the Ahan man. Anticipating, however, is Pádraig Welch. Into space here between half back and half forward. And that's the kind of ball now that James Marr is able to run onto. It's a perfect angle, sweeping it beautifully. Lovely score. Really, really nice score by Kilkenny. And by James Marr, he's got a third, and it's 10 points apiece.
Well, he's
Teams
been
level for the fourth time.
Sorry, Jared, he's been outstanding all year for Kilkenny. I've seen a lot of their matches, and to me, you know, he's up there with TJ Reid as their player of the year, and that's a beautiful strike on the run.
The bloodline is good, as they say. Mother, grandfather, you name it, they've been great hurlers. Here's Garrod Hagerty, son of Ger, of course. Oh, what a save again by Owen Murphy. 3 goal opportunities. It's gone over the bar. Hagerty gets his second point, but there was a goal there for the taking, and this goalkeeper has been in scintillating form, sensational form, really.
That's an outrageous save again by Owen Murphy, but Garrod Hagerty getting away from Rob Lennon there again, and as I said, all the Limerick forwards are running at the Kilkenny backs and creating plenty of space.
Well, the championship's been good so far. I hope the rest of it's going to be as good as this one here. That was a throw ball, so it's got to be a free to Limerick. John Kiley issuing the instructions. The rain still continuing to fall down. The players making little of it and serving up some wonderful fare for everyone to enjoy. Aaron Gillan has taken the opportunity, the referee with the notebook here. Aaron Gillan has taken the opportunity to get a towel to his hurley as Brian Cody issues the instructions. And every free is so important in a match as tight as this one. Limerick leading. We are just about 5.5 minutes from half-time. Psychologically, they'd love to go in at the break ahead of the Cats. It's a young Limerick team. The distance from goal here is easily 90 metres. Up into the air, they look at it, and it's gone wide.
Yeah, it was a difficult chance, and Jared, I think the big question now for Kilkenny, their puck-out strategy, they're going long and they're getting cleaned out in the half-back line. If they go short, they're not getting the ball over the half-forward line, so that's what they're trying to do with the short ones, get it to Paul Murphy or Paddy Deegan and strike it over the half-back line, but they can't do it.
And they've no Walter Welch, of course, but they have Billy Ryan in there to try and jump for it. He doesn't get to it. Instead, it's Sean Finn taking it away, back out as far as Dan Morrissey. Beautiful ball. That is beautifully done down to Graham Mulcahy. And Mulcahy goes down. Referee says play on. And he gets a point for his troubles. And the referee might deal with the foul by Paul Murphy there after all of that. Yeah. Yellow card issued.
The advantage was fine, but there was a goal on, and there was a definite goal chance if he didn't get nicked here. Just watch here now. Paul Murphy drags him down. He was gone in, and there was a 2-on-1 inside. He got up very quickly, poked it over the bar, but you can see there was a chance of a goal.
And it means Limerick are leading this match 11 points to 10. That's straight to James Barr. Catches it confidently. Looks a very assured, self-confident player. Blessed with wonderful talent. UCD student gets it forward into the corner towards Pat Ling. Another young man who carries it out over the end line. Helped out there, it might be said.
Yeah, this is something, Jerry, in the championship this year I've seen on a number of occasions. A player you've always coached you to go down over the ball. Watch Pat Ling here. He goes down over the ball, he's pushed on the back, and that's a free in. And that's been ignored time and time again this year.
That last score by Graham Mulcahy has now been registered, so 2 between them, 12 points to 10. Martin Keown through the centre. Colin Fennelly having difficulty with his touch. Greasy surface, a lot of rain here today, so it has been everywhere, I'm sure. Fogarty playing it back in, looking for Pat Ling to try and get at the end of, but it carried too much pace and the angle wasn't right.
Yeah, just on that last piece of action, James Maher looked to be away, but Graham Mulcahy came back from corner forward and put him under intense pressure, and he lost possession. Great work rate there again by Mulcahy. One of the more experienced players of the Limerick team, having a great season.
Nicky Quaid's puck out. Last time they played here at this venue was the league semi-final against Tipperary. Went to extra time. This one could go to extra time. Tom Morrissey hopes it won't, because they've now gone 3 in front. First point of the match, and every one of the 6 forwards now starting out for Limerick has scored.
Yeah, during the 12 from play, they've only one free. They're playing with great freedom up front, and all of them, some of them started a little bit slowly, but as the game has gone on, all their forwards have come into the game.
Through the centre with the puck out this time, the man they've been targeting is TJ Reid. TJ loses it. Needed a bit of assistance there. Fogarty was the nearest player to come and help him. A lot of Limerick men in the thick of it as well. Referee allows play to develop. It develops, and Kyle Hayes comes out with it. 2 men down on the inside forward line, and one of them was Garrod Hagerty going racing after this. Helped out a little bit by a little push in the back, it seemed. Pádraig Welch was there, eventually rolled up by Paul Murphy. Hand passed away as far as Rob Lennon. Lennon taking it out from left half back. 2 minutes to go to half time. Across there, putting pressure on Dan Morrissey. Crowd wonderfully involved in this match, wouldn't you be? It's that kind of super game. Back it comes again. A shot from the middle of the park, and that's gone over. Brilliantly done there. Darragh O'Donovan gets it. Another man to get his first point of the day here and put 4 points between these teams.
That's a brilliant score, but again, Cian Lynch involved. The simplicity of that man's game. He just gives a little hand pass, there, 2-yard hand pass, and O'Donovan opened his shoulders and put it over the bar. And Limerick just playing brilliantly for the last 15-20 minutes, have completely taken over the game now.
Patling is going off. Didn't even get to half-time. Been replaced by Liam Blanchfield. A big man now got in there. The last time that Brian Cody made 3 switches before a game, I remember, was against Waterford here 2 years ago, the replay of the All-Ireland semi-final. It worked for them then. Right now, Blanchfield, who played that night, will have to try and make a big impact. In the middle of the field, trying to make an impact is Conor Fogarty, hitting this one and over the bar.
Yeah, that's
one of Kilkenny's 8 scorers last Sunday.
Yeah, great first touch in the conditions. The ball, you know, again, should have been cleared by Limerick, but great first touch by Conor Fogarty in a super strike. He's a great man to get a big score, and that's vital coming up to half time to close the gap.
We'll be playing another 1 minute of additional time once we've reached the 35. This one is collected by Richie English. Hand passed off as far as a clubmate, Darragh O'Donovan from Doon. And the Doon men will be hoping to dooming Kilkenny at the end of all of that, because it's his second point.
Yeah, great play by Richie English there. Came out, had the composure just to slip the little hand pass. Now O'Donovan thundering into the game down the last few minutes. Second brilliant score.
Well, he's just 21 years of age, Darragh O'Donovan. The treatment being given to Declan Hannon. Play continues. Limerick technically with 14 players. Now Hannon is back on his feet again. Cian Lynch helped out. Gave it away there to Seamus Flanagan. Look at him, how far back he's been. Taking off here. Conor Fogarty can't get in the block. One forward in there. It's Aaron Gillan. Loses it. Paul Murphy takes it. Another 20 seconds to go. Is there one more score for Kilkenny before the break here to try and squeeze Limerick a little bit more? 4 points the margin. Billy Ryan coming forward. Back as far as Fennelly, puts it over, and Kilkenny have probably got the last point of a very, very exciting first half. It is 15 points to 12. Well, the two teams have certainly risen to the occasion here, and I think the next whistle we will hear will be the half-time whistle from referee James McGrath. The players deserve a break. Kilkenny started well, Limerick looked a bit nervous, but then both sides settled down, in particular Limerick. We had wonderful scores, great goal opportunities, great goalkeeping by Owen Murphy. Listen to the crowd. Everybody appreciates what these two teams have done. And at the break here in Semple Stadium in Thurles, the scoreline reads, it's Kilkenny 12 points, Limerick 15. We'll be right back after this.
Ireland semi-finals, and as it stands, Limerick lead Kilkenny by 15 points to 12. And I can tell you one thing, Ken beside me here is sweating in the studio. You must be feeling the excitement.
Too much sun over the last 4 or 5 weeks. No, I think it was a great first half. Kilkenny started very well. Limerick settled into it, and I think it's a great championship match and some great scores. It's real tit for tat game, and I think Limerick, after the first 10-15 minutes, found their flow, and some of the balls in front of the forward line, it's impossible to defend against, and the movement off the forward line, the half forward line very deep, and Seamus Flanagan, Graham Mulcahy causing chaos in there, Aaron Gillan, and they're really, I'd say, they're happy at half time. And yet, look, Kilkenny started the game well, which they haven't in a lot of the games in the last few weeks, but I think at half time Limerick are saying, right, we're right chance here, but as I said before the game, it's putting a nail in Kilkenny's coffin. That's the.
But this is going to be one of those games, one of those ding-dong games, Brendan, where I wouldn't like to be putting money on one way or the other at this stage.
No, you wouldn't. And the way the game started, like Limerick went 7 points to 3 down, and the next 19 minutes then they won at 12-5. The structure I like of the Limerick defence. Hannon is sitting, he's saying to his midfielders, you take up Richie or whoever else is out there, we just make sure Kilkenny aren't going to score goals.
Exactly.
And that's what Brian Cody would have wanted to start. He put the shark inside in the middle of it in TJ Reid. Didn't get the goal. TJ's drifted out now, you know, and now the chips are down for Kilkenny. Limerick should have scored a couple of goals there, you know, in that half as well.
3 goal chances in actual fact.
Yeah, they had, you know, and Limerick were really pushing, making good decisions. We spoke about Flanagan before the game, you know, puts it across Gillan. Gillan doesn't mind trying to win the ball, but this save is just I can't. It's very hard to put into words. Brilliant. It's very difficult even to talk over because you could ruin it.
Exactly.
But look at the way his feet are planted. A lot of goalies, Michael, when they stop the ball, they're wondering where's the ball gone. They're looking around for it. But watch him, his eyes are on the ball. He sees it going over the bar. He knows exactly what he's doing. And a lot of the time, we'd have said Kilkenny goalies, like, you know,
with the work rate there as well.
They never got anything to do. But once they got inside here again, then this is just poor decision making for me. The ball comes across, but Murphy's very fast off his line, plays out the field a lot as well. You'd know it in the way he comes out there and breaks it away. But this is really the one. The shot for a goalkeeper down around your feet is always the hardest one to save. But if you look at him, he's like a Kyle Spring. He bends, his knee bend is very good. He's low to the ball. His eyes are nearly at the same height as the ball as the struck, so it's very easy for him to get down. But
and
he is just.
You could see in his reaction, he enjoyed that himself because he knew it was a good save.
Look, he's an angry goalkeeper.
Hurling,
you know what I mean? He's in the dressing room now.
He's a brilliant hands there. Brilliant player.
I'm sure he's a leader. He's inside at half time, baiting, I'm sure, the tape saying, lads, they got 3 shots on me. This is what's going on here. He's a leader in the group, and like I said, he's an angry goal, and I love that in a goalkeeper.
Ger, you've been looking at the Limerick tactics and the way they have played that ball.
Well, sure, it's straight out of what used to be the Kilkenny playbook. You know, the half-forward line drift out. They leave a space between the half-backs and the full-backs. They know they have the legs in the Kilkenny full-back, but you have to use it. So, 3 wings. They're using low ball in front of them. They're using diagonal ball. And then when they get it, they're prepared to take them on. They're the 3 things. Now, all based, of course, on what the 2 lads have said, the dominance of the Limerick half-back line. Great character showed by Hannon, especially, to come into the game after getting a bit of doing early on. Graham Mulcahy, you know, they are the 2 older fellas there. And look at the example they're giving to the younger lads. Here again, the brilliant diagonal ball. You know, he knows that Gillan will have the legs on his marker, and he's prepared to take him on. That's the whole thing. Here's Richie English out from cornerback. Look at the composure they have on the ball. There's no panicky stuff. There's no wild striking. You know, it's all playing with real confidence. Very lucky there that the ball comes out the field. You know, here's a man who's had a terrific year, Darragh Donovan at midfield, 2 points in play. Again, look at the ball that's in. And the composure of Gillan when he gets it. He knows he has time. He takes the time, you know. So they have scored 13 points in play in the first half. 9 different scorers. All the forwards, 1 midfielder, and 2 of the half-backs. The only one, funny enough, who hasn't scored is Cian Lynch, who's usually their best scorer. So it just tells you their dominance in that first half and the carefree way in which they're playing. Now, the big question is, when the pressure comes on, will they keep playing in that carefree way?
But that's sorry, Brendan. That's why they played against Waterford. The movement in them, they'd Waterford backs to 6 and 7s, and they're going to thoroughly suits them as well. The space in front of the ball.
But will they do it, Ken, when the pressure comes on?
You saw England the other day on the Wednesday when the heat came on, they folded. And this is the whole thing. This is knockout championship hurling. This is a proper game. Will they fold or will they drive it on?
All right, guys. After the break, we will return to sample. Welcome back again. Now, don't forget that later on in the programme, it is Kerry versus Galway in football. Right now, it is Limerick who are leading Kilkenny by 15 points to 12. That's in this hurling quarter-final in Thurles. The attendance is 18,500. Thought there might be a few more, but anyway, there it is. You were saying during the break there, Ger, you lads were saying, now, can Limerick go and do it?
Well, Kilkenny are in difficulty. You can see that. You know, this Richie Hogan started so well, James Maher started so well, TJ, they've faded out of the game. So Kilkenny's difficulty is Limerick's opportunity, but they've got to grasp it now. The first 10 minutes here, there's going to be an assault. They have to withstand that, and drive on from there.
All right, that's thanks for that. Time to go back to the commentary box to rejoin Ger Canning and Michael Duignan.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. Yes, 1 team out. We have Kilkenny, and there's no change from the team that finished the opening half there. Liam Blanchfield did come in. We'll be hoping, and they'll be hoping, that he can make a big difference. Remember, this All-Ireland final is a month away. It's mid-August, earlier than usual this year. 5 teams currently left in the hunt. And there's one man who's taking a very big interest. We saw him there a moment ago, John Myler, the Cork manager, set to face the winners of this one. Brian Cody was very animated during that first half, and I know out of picture at one stage he was having words with Colin Fennelly in particular. I think the message was fairly clear. You've got to do it for us, Colin. You've got to buck up.
Yeah, Colin had a good start, went out of it a little bit, looked a little bit jaded actually, and he had a serious word with him off camera at one stage. But I think the subs now, that'll be interesting. To me, the best game Richie Leahy has played since he came on the Kilkenny team was against Wexford when he came on at half-time. They were 9 down. He was instrumental in changing that game around. Jerry Aylward, a player that looks to be maybe just hitting form, a little bit unlucky in the game so far. He's one that has pace that'll come into the game. And then on the Limerick side, Shane Dowland's experience, will that be needed? Peter Casey, David Dempsey had great years at the club, so they will make a big difference. But Limerick have taken over. Kilkenny will be looking for a hot start to the second half. We've seen that so many times over the years, but have they got the personnel to do it now?
Kilkenny will not be at all happy that Limerick are keeping them waiting. And the referee's not too happy either, James McGrath, who has been a very, very busy man this season. Now they're out, Limerick. Let's see if they're going to make any changes. I doubt it. No changes in Limerick. They're ready for the second half. The one thing they can't afford to do is rest on their laurels. There's 35 minutes now, barring we go into extra time, for one of these teams to stake their claim, to make absolutely sure they're there in the semi-final.
Well, let's hope we have the same game we had in the first half. What an absolutely brilliant first half of hurling we had. Brilliant, open, fast, hard hurling.
This time the referee is...
Aaron Gillan has gone down off the ball.
Gone down off the ball, you're right.
Yeah. I didn't see that. Just look.
Well, let's see if a camera picked it out here. Paddy Deegan is the man. Oh, Paddy could be in trouble.
Well, if it was seen, this is the thing. Did the linesman see it? It's a dig at the hurl. No action been taken because
we saw a Limerick cornerback been sent off for something similar in the match against Clare. They get away with it. They could ill afford to go down to 14 for the second half. Kilkenny, they're 3 points behind. Robert Lennon in as far as Richie Hogan, and Hogan sends it off on its way, but that's not where he intended. It's the first wide of the second half, and it's the 9th in all for Kilkenny. Puck out here for Limerick by Nicky Quaid. Great excitement, the crowd absolutely thoroughly enjoying it. Tom Morrissey playing it back as far as Diarmuid Burns. The Limerick student puts it in and puts it wide. Same as the first half, both teams had a wide at the very beginning.
Yeah, but that's encouraging. Like the movement there, Tom Morrissey fielded the puck out over Rob Lennon, who's having some tough moments over there in the left wing, when Burns coming forward there, and normally he'd expect to put that over the bar. You could hear the expectation in the crowd.
There was a feeling today that maybe Lennon might play full back, and Porrick Welch might be given a space out on the half-back line for Kilkenny. It hasn't materialised. Meanwhile, off goes Gearóid Hegarty once again, slipping. No foul. Lots of encouragement coming in from the sideline. Dan Morrissey goes to take this one. 65 metres out from the Kilkenny goal. Hand pass, but too far ahead. And Paddy Deegan's able to come across, get it out, get it away, helped by Joey Holden. Into the middle here. Hurleys go flying. Dara O'Donovan. Coming out to try and win this one is Conor Fogarty. And again the referee's whistle sounds, and Limerick look a little puzzled.
Yeah, well, they're not happy about that. They felt they should have got a free before that for a foul. And if we just look here again, this is something we're talking about all year, is just the hand coming in. This is not the incident here. I don't think there was a free given there. It's just here now where... Yeah, look, we don't know where the free was there. There was, to me, there was the same type of tackling going on from both sides there for about 30 seconds.
TJ Reid took a knock in the first half. I just wonder if he's 100% recovered from that. He's been good on his frees, put over 3 out of 4 in the opening 35 minutes. This one to try and make it a 2-point game. He's about 70 metres out from the target. Flawless as per usual. Good start to the second half by TJ.
Yeah, and interesting to see John Kiley up talking to the fourth official there. He's pointing over at Paddy Deegan. He's given Aaron Gillan very, very close attention. Very lucky to get away with that jab on him, and he's holding him off the ball as well.
That's beautifully taken here by Tom Morrissey, but a hand pass that's given away badly to Conor Fogarty and allowed Kilkenny to begin the next attack with TJ Reid. Diagonally across the top of the left, over there towards Fennelly. Casey's there as well. Liam Blanchfield trying to win it up against Sean Finn. Colin Fennelly battling, tries to get away from a couple of players. Blanchfield has it, knocks it all the way back here. Retained well by James Marr. and then striking it under duress, but putting it to the right, and 2 missed opportunities by Kilkenny in the opening 3 attacks of the second half.
Yeah, well, James Marburg singing his praise in the first half. He really should have thrown that ball out to Rob Lennon. He was completely free outside, little hand pass, and he would have popped it over bad wide.
Cian Lynch up there towards Kyle Hayes. Too much pace on that one. Well, they can't afford to start making elementary mistakes like that and retain their dominant position in this match, ahead by 15 points to 13. Amazing that we haven't had any goals so far. I'm sure John Kiley is feeling the same thing. Could have had 3 in the first half.
Yeah, I think interestingly for Kilkenny, they put TJ Reid wing forward now in the second half, and Richie Hogan still at centre forward. You know, Limerick really in the last 20 minutes of the first half destroyed Kilkenny across the half-back line, and they're hoping that Richie Hogan and TJ Reid can combine there to more effect.
Conor Fogarty swings on that one, down towards Colin Fennell. He runs on in there beyond Billy Ryan as well, taken by the other quarterback, Richie English this time. Over towards Diarmuid Burns. Patrick Swell, player, struggling to bail it up onto a stick, immediately surrounded by 3 Kilkenny men, all tough operators. Back as far as TJ Reid from Colin Fennelly, and it's
great block down there, I think, by Diarmuid Burns.
Well, they're finding it tough going. You can maybe sure it's Championship Hurling, and Championship Hurling at its best during the opening 35 minutes.
Yeah, and raining very heavy now. You mightn't see it on the television at home, but it's absolutely spilling down here now at the moment.
Sure is. TJ Reid to cut this one, make it a 1-point game. Can he measure it exactly, precisely? Not quite. A couple of ones going astray now. That's 11 wides now all of a sudden by Kilkenny, but it's anybody's game. 15-13.
Yeah, it's like the first half. Kilkenny started well in the first half, like Limerick struggling for possession here, but Kilkenny with a couple of bad wides, and you know, those line balls hitting them wide, I've talked about it many times before, they're better off to keep them in play.
Nicky Quaid was considering a shorter one, but all the way down the field it goes, intended there for Seamus Flanagan. He wasn't able to get to it, protesting to the linesman on this near side, who is Paul O'Dwyer from Carlow. So it's going to be a line ball for Kilkenny, and they'll be happy now if they can draw the sting from Limerick, stay very much in the contest, keep the pressure down on the Limerick backs. Limerick trying to win it in midfield. Cian Lynch in there as far as Graham Mulcahy, went very, very deep to collect this, out to Diarmuid Burns. Burns hitting it, but it's going to drop short, dangerously in there. Owen Murphy reads it so well, then looks up, then strikes from his own 20-metre line. Beautiful ball down towards TJ Reid. Oh, superbly caught. He's in field, he's in field. The management from Limerick was claiming that he was out. He wasn't. Legs might have been, the ball wasn't, but Limerick have it back anyway. And Darragh O'Donovan has it and loses it to Richie Hogan, the one man you don't want to give it away to, and Richie underhits this. Put one wide, one into the goalkeeper's hands, 2 shots at the target, or near the target, by Richie in the second half. Away by Nicky Quaid. Inaccurate. It happens, doesn't it, after half-time? The game was so good in the first half, it's very difficult to get up to that same level of intensity.
It is, Joe, but I think the conditions playing their part. Like, it's raining heavily. Those pure strikes we saw in the first half, they were flying over the bar, they're just not getting the distance now. The hurl is slipping out of the hand, and just a lull that'll suit Kilkenny, because they didn't want Limerick starting with the same pace, and they're happy enough at the moment.
I think Richie Lahey is going to be coming in a moment. I just saw the signal. TJ Reid, he'll be in the half-forward line for Kilkenny. They're trailing by 2 points. Nicky Quaid out as far as Diarmuid Burns. The LIT man up into the air, dropping into the half-forward line, collected superbly there by Joey Holden. So much a better player out at half-back than in the full-back line. That was Marr, and that was wide. Wasted opportunities.
And that's a terrible wide, and you can see Brian Cody obviously not happy with that. You know, there was no chance of a score from there. He could have either carried the ball and drawn a man, or else played the ball inside. Brutal wide there.
Well, he should have been able to give it into the forwards anyway and give them a chance. From Quaid's puck out, Garrod Hagerty knocks it down to the waiting Cian Lynch, attracting 2 players to him. Low in field here, again Galan loses his stick. He's lost his stick a few times today. Maybe the slippery conditions, grip is difficult to maintain. Garrod Hagerty from that loose clearance finishes it off by putting it over the bar. And that is his first of the second half. It's his 3rd in all. And once again he restores a 3-point advantage for Limerick.
Yeah, and Paul Murphy normally very good in those situations to come out, maybe give a hand pass. He had plenty of options outside, but he went for the long clearance, hit it and straight to Hagerty, and that'll settle down Limerick now. Their first score of the second half.
It's taken them 8 minutes to get it. Kilkenny trying to get the next one. Richie Hogan impishly taking it up. Eventually given off as far as TJ Reid. And Reid again can't put it over. Is it to be this kind of day for Kilkenny?
Well, Jared, there was a beautiful piece of skill there in that. I don't know if you just saw Richie Hogan. He just flicked the ball in the air and left it for TJ Reid to tick on the way past. It would have been a fantastic score.
Kilkenny win possession once again here. Billy Ryan trying to get away from Richie English. Ryan advancing. Good run, really good run. How will it finish? Down he goes. Referee keeps his whistle in his hand. Nothing given. Kilkenny still trying to create menace in there. They try to get that ball in. Limerick try to get the ball out. It's eventually away, and they get it out as far as Cian Lynch, and the danger is averted. So dangerous for the Limerick backs that time, but they get it up as far as Graham Mulcahy, and their counter-attack now will involve Kyle Hayes. Hayes inside the 45-metre line has a good look at the target and sweeps it in and sweeps it over.
Well, that's a huge turning point in the game, or it could be. Billy Ryan maybe looked to be fouled when he got the ball first, but made a great run down the middle, and super defended by Limerick. Sean Finn came out with the ball, they worked it up the field, and Graham Mulcahy again showing his experience and the vision to create that chance for Kyle Hayes. That's 3 for him now, 3 for Hegarty and 1 for Tom Artsy. That half forward line, big strong mobile, and they're going to town here now.
They'll never have a better chance, I think, of taking Kilkenny's scalp, but then with TJ Reid and Richie Hogan about, very dangerous to say that. Here's Marr crashing in here, and the ball has gone wide. Nothing's happening in front of goal for them. They've got Richie Leahy in, by the way, the last couple of minutes in place of Martin Keown.
Yeah, very good defense. Look at Michael Casey again. Stood his ground, didn't panic, held up James Maher, and chance gone.
Well, there's a lot of hurling to be played in this match. Only 10 minutes into the second half. Nicky Quaid taking a few moments, then pucking it out to the half-forward line towards Hayes. 3 players surrounding him. Weight of numbers works out, and Conor Fogarty gets it down towards Fennelly. Can't get to it. Taken instead by Dan Morrissey. Back here as far as Mike Casey. Bad ball. Straight to the man you don't want to give it to. Hogan in, and Hogan's put it wide again. This is inexplicable. For a man who was getting 3 points in the opening 15 minutes, he's just shot 3 wides.
Yeah, and we talked a bit when he came on against Galway. He missed a couple of chances. Match sharpness, he can't beat it, but maybe he's beginning to tire out there, I don't know, but that's not like him. That was an easy chance he'd only put over the bar.
Kilkenny have got, so far in this match, 13 points and 15 wides.
Incredible statistic, Gerard, and it's not like them, and you know, in a way, throwing the game away, they've had their chances, and Limerick taking their chances on the far end. Every chance they get, they seem to be putting it away.
Garrod Hegarty up here, beautifully collected by Aaron Gillan. There's a goal here. What another brilliant save! It's a point for Gillan. He must be wondering, what does he do to beat Owen Murphy? Watch this for a stinger of a shot, and an absolutely flying save. Brilliant.
Yeah, but Jerry should have been a lot lower. Look, he looked up, he went for the top corner. All he did was into the bottom right-hand corner there. The whole goal was open, and really that should have been finished at the net. It could have been game over.
It's a 5-point game, and it's not over by any manner of means. And Billy Ryan is trying to advance again for Kilkenny. They're hoping that their luck will be changing pretty quickly, and it might do so here. They've got Blanchfield in front of goal, hitting and putting it over the bar. His first points is coming on as a sub for Pat Ling, and Kilkenny are not giving up hope. There's only 4 between them.
Yeah, good first touch by Liam Blanchfield, got it up, and he's in now. Richie Leahy is in, and they're really going to need these young players now to stand up and count if they're going to get back into this game. But Limerick, as we were saying, they've just been so efficient up front. Any ball they're getting in there, they look very, very dangerous.
Quaid, not sure how he's trying to pick out this time. Probably Kyle Hayes, but getting there first was Joey Holden. Winning that one is Richie Leahy, the player who was picked to start but then wasn't given the nod to get into the opening 15. Instead, that ball is played in towards Fogarty, just too far ahead of him, but there's still possibilities here for Blanchfield if he can get to it. Leahy going in to win it, hand passing it but giving it away, and eventually it's taken out here by Declan Hannon. Hannon's holding on to it, pursued by Leahy. In comes Hegarty. The next man in is Rob Lennon, and the referee eventually blows up the ball and will try to end the indecision by throwing the ball in. It's some contest, rip-roaring, wonderful intensity. It's back up to the level it was at now before half-time. They took a few moments, but they're back at it again. Conor Fogarty out here as far as James Marr, through the centre, into Fennelly. Laid off beautifully. This is taken well. Oh, it was Richie Lahey who was trying to get to the end of that one, but failed to convert. It's gone for a 65 instead.
Yeah, lovely piece of play there by Kilkenny. Lovely ball into Billy Ryan. He picked out. Well, look at that hit. Was it Michael Casey on the back there? He turned his back to it, hit him on the shoulder, out for a 65. And what a strange game, Ger. Kilkenny can thank Owen Murphy, they're still in the game. Limerick could have 4 goals, he's made just incredible saves, and yet on the other side Kilkenny have hit all these wides, and it's just, while it's a brilliant contest, there's been mistakes on both sides, but as I say, some of that down to the conditions. It's been so sunny and so firm over the last month, and big change of conditions today, which is obviously telling.
Brian Cody must be ruining the fact they've had 7 wides in the second half, which is 14 minutes old. That's a wide every 2 minutes. TJ Reid, they need this. Just to make it a 3-pointer. He's got it. He's got 5. They're still very much in the hunt, because as long as his team cannot beat goalkeeper Owen Murphy and are unable to take their goal opportunities, Kilkenny are hanging on in there. And you know how difficult it is to beat the Cats. Darragh O'Donovan, haven't seen much of him in the second half so far. Gearóid Hegarty's already scored in the second half, trying to double his money, but not with this one. It's only their second wide of the half. Now 20 minutes still to play, and it's all or nothing. It's knockout. Richie Hogan comes in, looked to his right, gave it off to his left, and the referee says the ball was thrown. Richie doesn't agree.
Well, that's a big call, because TJ Reid was gone through. Let's have another look at it here. Just watch TJ knocking it down. Richie Hogan, as he does so well, reading the break.
Yeah. Was there a striking action with the hand?
I don't think so. It looked he just slipped it out of his hand, but how many examples? You know, it's part of the game now, because lads have been tackled so heavy, they're just shipping the ball out.
And the ball is so slippery today because of the rain anyway.
There was Seamus Fanning going down. He looked to be fouled by Pádraig Walsh, out to Tom Morrissey, and that's a great score.
It's a wonderful score. It's his second. They're availing of all of their opportunities now, and they're absolutely tormenting the Kilkenny backs, and those up on the Killiney end are absolutely revelling in this. They haven't seen a Limerick team beat Kilkenny in the championship for God knows when. I do, 1973. Taken again here by Dan Morrissey, helped out here. Oh, just as they were trying to get it away through Darragh O'Donovan, they lost their way as well, and Kilkenny are in there battling, looking to try and win primary possession once again. TJ Reid picks it up onto his stick and passes it out as far as Richie Lahey from 45 metres out. Lahey straight as a die and over the bar. That's for Lahey since coming on.
Sorry, Ger, that's a brilliant piece of play. I don't know if you noticed in the middle that TJ Reid lost his hurl. He kept battling away, picked up his hurl with one hand, rose the ball into Melee and hand passed it out to Richie Lahey. Great score.
It's 1916. Historic stuff. Killian Buckley all the way in, dangerous one for the full back line to deal with, still there to be taken. Blanchfield in there, comes back as far as TJ Reid, and he slips it over, and they are far from finished. One from play for TJ Reid, his 6th of the afternoon, and now it's a 2-point game once again, and Limerick are bound to be nervous.
Yeah, and all these subs from Liam Blanchfield involved there again. Richie Lahey very involved since he came on, and Billy Ryan is having a big second half. He's shown for everything. His pace is causing trouble to that Limerick full back line.
Nicky Quaid and Limerick need to start winning these puck outs now. They're coming back far too quickly, far too regularly, and once again it's won by Kilkenny. Owen Murphy down to Richie Lahey, who's got clear ground in front of him, strikes it and strikes it over. It's a 1-point game.
And this is what he did, Jerry, against Wexford. He came on, he changed the course of the game. Look at this brilliant first touch again. And when he's on strong, I saw him with the 21s, Kilkenny under 21s a couple of times this year as well. Great young player, and maybe just coming off the bench, not as much pressure on him, and he's able to go out and express himself. That's 2 great points now from him.
Nicky Quaid right now looks to have a problem with maybe a contact lens. He's taken the helmet off, as you can see. He also wants to try and break, I'm sure, the run of scores that Kilkenny have been enjoying of late, and just holding up the play. He's not too happy. Lots of encouragement being given by the 2 managers. Must be wonderful for Kilkenny players to see Brian Cody on the sideline. 11 All-Ireland titles to his credit. and he still wants more.
And Mick Dempsey out in the middle of the field now giving advice to James McGrath. You can see him right in his face out there. And everything seems to be restored now. You know, there'll obviously be a bit of time added on in the second half, substitutions, and there was another stoppage there. I think that's all he was reminding the referee.
We're midway through the second half. Who's going to win it now? Out it comes here to Killian Buckley. Under a lot of pressure. Back to Paddy Deegan. Way down the field. Battle for possession, which is won eventually by the spare man there. Declan Hannon stayed back, won it, gives it out clearly. Out to Dermot Burns. Swinging it away over here towards Tom Morrissey. Runs on instead to Seamus Flanagan. Flanagan, the full forward look. Oh, that's an appetising ball in there. It was appealing, but it didn't quite reach its target. Garrod Hagerty, and away eventually from Owen Murphy's stick, all the way downfield. Down there towards TJ Reid, ready to try and pick it up again and get there ahead of Sean Finn to strike it in here, but it's going to the left. And a missed opportunity. It wasn't an easy one by any means.
No, but we could see what Seamus Flanagan was trying to do there, but at a crucial stage, all he had to do was flick it over the bar, showed brilliantly for the ball. A simple score, tried to lob it over the top, and then maybe fatigue. TJ Reid normally, you know, put that over. I know the conditions, but you know, these few games in a row, are they going to tell against Kilkenny now?
Declan Hannon into the closing reaches of this match now at this stage, and it is Graham Mulcahy breezing in, and this time very sensibly taking his point. He's got 3. No hanging around that time, and the crowd appreciate the simplicity of his work, but the excellence of his run as well, coming in from the angle and making absolutely sure. It's 2018.
Yeah, lovely ball again. He loves that fast ball, and he's lightning quick on his feet. Super score.
Declan Hannon got a vital hand to that one, helped out here by Darragh O'Donovan. Across as far as Tom Morrissey. Both sides now looking to put in a very big finish. That's a great catch under pressure there by Pádraig Walsh. Down towards the other full-back. Mike Casey came looking for it. So too is Colin Fennelly, surrounded by Limerick players. Limerick still hanging on, a 2-point advantage. Back to take it was Tom Morrissey, sweeping across to the very mobile Graham Mulcahy, who was on his skates, but his skates weren't going fast enough for him that time. Line ball to Kilkenny.
Yeah, that's the ball again. It's going to slide over the line in these conditions. They're trying to play to the diagonal, but it's not working some of the time. But Limerick forwards' movement is still top class, and they're creating lots of problems. And yet they're only 2 points ahead, and Kilkenny very much in this.
That one is in towards Richie Leahy. He couldn't take it, but taking it instead is Dan Morrissey from Ahan. Oh, bounces awkwardly off the stick of Deegan. Advancing with a great deal of purpose was Hagerty. Here's Flanagan, lost it, strikes it, and again a good save by the goalkeeper. Maybe not as exciting and as flamboyant as some of the other ones, but an important intervention nonetheless by Owen Murphy. Again another goal chance for Limerick, and again one they weren't able to take. Richie Hogan instead. Oh, that's an awful ball from Richie. I know what he was aiming at, but he aimed it straight at Dermot Burns, and back it comes once again. This time Pádraig Walsh gets the stick, and in one sweeping movement gets it down into the middle to Richie Hogan once again, taking it once more amid a whole group of Limerick players is Conor Fogarty. Down field to Blanchfield, can't take it, inside towards Colin Fennelly. Fennelly getting the stick to it, advancing it there to Liam Blanchfield. He's a big man taking on Richie English. Blanchfield, and he's going to get a free just outside the large square. The referee has decided free from the 20-metre line.
Well, Jerry, look at this. First of all, here's Liam Blanchfield now breaking through, pulled straight down there. Is he inside it? When is the foul committed? The referee's given a free, is their penalty. But Seamus Flanagan, he went with the hurl. Instead of catching the ball on the run, all he did was take the pass in his hand and stick it in the net, and he went and put up the hurl, and the ball bounced off it. And it's a yellow card, I think, for Richie English there as well. Cynical foul.
Well, he's got the card, and it's going to be a free in, which TJ Reid will take. We've got more changes coming up for Limerick in just a moment. Peter Casey is going to come in, corner forward. TJ Reid, this to make it 2019. Doesn't need to go for a goal, and he doesn't.
Jerry, just watch. We're going to have a look here. Look at Garrett Hegarty. Great vision here. He throws it over. Watch Flanagan. All he did was catch that ball, stick it in the net. He went to play with the hurley. Good save at the same time by Murphy, a no ball, but should have been another goal for Limerick.
Instead, It is Garrod Haggerty once again here in the thick of it. Went off the Kilkenny stick. The linesman on the near side has decided. So it's got to be a line ball for Limerick. We're playing the 24th minute of the second half, and Peter Casey is about to come on. And also coming on there will be number 19, Shane Dowling. Can they swing this match in Limerick's direction? That's Casey. Got a goal and 3 last week against Carlow on his return to action, and he replaces the full forward Seamus Flanagan. So off he goes, and in comes Shane Dowling as well, and the player going off is going to be Garrod Haggerty. Now, will these changes have the desired effect for Limerick? Only 1 point in front as Darragh O'Donovan sweeps it in there to the 20-metre line, and it is won well back there by James Marr of Kilkenny. Out as far as Robert Lennon loses it to Cian Lynch, and Lynch from near the sideline sends it in and sends it wide.
Well, Jared, these are big calls now by Limerick, but I think both Garrod Haggerty and Seamus Flanagan having big games for Limerick. It might be pre-planned. It's for, you know, the last what have we got left, 10 15 minutes maybe with extra time, but big calls to take off two players that are going really well.
Dan Morrissey, Cian Lynch, a little bit too far ahead. Shane Dowling that time collected instead here by the new man in, Peter Casey. Casey lets it off.
That answers my question.
Oh my goodness, what a substitution. He scores with his first touch. Peter Casey, brother of Mike from the Napier Street Club, and he makes it 21-19. It's a nail biter. An epic clash in Semple Stadium in miserable wet conditions, just like it was 4 years ago in the semi-final in Croke Park. Then it was Kilkenny who came out on top. Now John Kiley and the backroom team will be hoping it's Limerick's day finally.
Very similar game, Jared. Kilkenny that day maybe out hurled for periods, but they stayed in and got a late goal. I think it was Richie Power that day, and you know, Limerick on the ascendancy now, to have to make this count.
Oh, he can do it, Darragh O'Donovan. He's done it from the sideline cut. We've seen it in this year's championship. He's got 3 today and 9 for the season in the championship, and suddenly it is Limerick who are looking good, but only by a couple of points. 10 minutes to go. You still wouldn't back against Kilkenny. You never can. And Limerick know that. Line ball, which will be taken by Diarmuid Byrne, or will it? No, they're going to give it to Darragh O'Donovan. Brian Cody there with a word to James McGarry. Now there are more changes to be made. He's already brought on Liam Blanchfield and Richie Leahy. By virtue of the fact that he started Richie Hogan today and Colin Fennelly, I guess his subs bench is not as strong as it was last week. Instead, this is picked up here by Tom Morrissey. Morrissey lost it. Picking it up here is the captain, Killian Buckley for Kilkenny, helped out by Joey Holden. Way downfield. Important clash, an important win here. And then it's stolen away, and Richie Hogan has it again. Advancing, giving it here as far as Richie Leahy. Leahy can take a point. Beautifully done. There is no stopping Kilkenny.
Yeah, great work by Richie Hogan again. He'd really no right to win that ball. Won it back, involved TJ Reid, involved out to Richie Leahy again, and he certainly made a massive difference in the second half. That's his third from play.
John Donnelly coming on in place of Colin Fennelly. That's the next change, and there'll be a Limerick change immediately after it. William O'Donoghue will be coming on, and that will be presently.
Yeah, and TJ Reid gone centre forward, and Richie Hogan gone in down the edge of the square.
This time gathered in here by the new man in, that's John Donnelly, and Donnelly's first contribution is to hit this one. The umpires aren't sure about it, so we need technology to help us out. Was it in? Was it out? It's an important call because it's Limerick 22, Kilkenny 20, and we're playing the 63rd minute. 7 to go, plus injury time, and of course there could be extra time as well. Nothing to separate these sides. So we look across to see whether it's in, whether it's not.
It's a big one for John Donnelly, who just come on. He had TJ Reid loose outside him, but he decided to go for the score himself. Hawkeye very slow and Thurles as we've seen during the championship, but vitally important in calls like this.
Yeah, the important is to get it right. And that, I'm sure they will do. And the referee will add time on. So here's the big news. Is it in? Is it not? It's very, very much in. In by about a foot, I would have thought. And it's John Donnelly who scored it. And now it's a 22-21 game. Does anybody deserve to lose this in 70 minutes? Great catch by Shane Dowling. Releasing that hand pass there. Struck well by Will O'Donoghue and up and wide as well.
Really, that should have been over. He made a great run to give a lovely angle to Dowling to take the pass just on the field. And we've seen all these subs, and Brian Cody mentioned it before the game. It's a 20-man game now, and all these lads coming in making a big, big difference.
There, the Piershik men coming in, of course, for Limerick. Hannon under pressure here. Oh, here's an opportunity. Once again, it's Donnelly. Lays it off. Richie Hogan. Goal! There is no stopping the Cats, and there's no way you can stop this particular Cat. Former hurler of the year, Richie Hogan. He's got another one. It's his 10th ever championship goal. Will he ever get a more important one? The little pass there from Donnelly is just on, and a sublime finish, and it comes as it does in the 65th minute.
Yeah, look at the difference there between Richie Hogan and all the other chances in the game so far. He struck it low. Great catch by Tom Morrissey. This would be a great response if he can put this one over.
He's
brilliant
done it.
Score.
Tom Morrissey with 3. 121 for Kilkenny, 23 points for Limerick. It's again a 1-point game, but now it's Kilkenny who lead.
Fantastic response though by Morrissey. Just get out of my way, he said. He stuck it over the bar. But John Donnelly's part in that goal. They've said it in Kilkenny to me many times, the vision that this guy has. And Hogan inside full forward causing havoc.
He
gives
is
it back
once
to Donnelly.
again. Donnelly stopped in his tracks, stopped unfairly, I thought, by Mike Casey. But play continues. Hogan's got it again. Back out to TJ Reid, taking on 2-3 players. Kilkenny still hanging on to their 1-point lead when they were behind for so much of this match. Limerick will absolutely be devastated if they lose this game. Back out it comes to Kyle Hayes, 3 points for him so far. Up into the corner it comes to Peter Casey, trying to make an angle for himself, shooting confidently and shooting accurately, and it's level again. There is nothing to separate Kilkenny and Limerick on a magical day for hurling at Semple Stadium, and the teams are level for the 5th time.
But that had to be a free into Kilkenny there before. John Donnelly was taken by the head. No free given. The ball goes up. A great score. Kyle Hayes had a brilliant ball into Casey. He's lightning fast out in front. Great score, but a bad call, a bad miss.
Once again, it's Dermot Burns for Limerick. All the way back up the field it goes to Aaron Gillam. Is there more in Aaron Gillam? Is there more in Dowling? Shane Dowling left off the starting 15. Very much in there now, and very much an influential figure. Gets the point that puts Limerick back into the lead again. What a titanic clash this is. One of the best games we've seen this year.
And is that the difference in Limerick from this year and other years? You know, they give away the goal, they come back and score 3 brilliant points in a row. And Shane Downey, a man who's done so much for Limerick hurling. Brilliant score by him.
Down towards TJ Reid. What a take by him ahead of 2 Limerick defenders. Gave it back out towards Donnelly again. He's making a marked contribution in between 2 defenders, but nobody in the black and amber stripe to be able to take it. Instead it comes out there to Will O'Donoghue. Out into the middle to Shane Dowling, his clubmate. Low inside again. They keep feeding it forward here to another man from the Piershing, to Peter Casey. We've known about it for some time, but this is the case of the one that got away. 2 out of 3 ain't bad though. 2 points for him earlier on. 67 minutes gone.
Sorry, Joe, what a tick-up by Shane Dowling in the lead-up to that. He just balled a hard ball straight. He went down low, took it into his chest and gave a lovely ball into Casey, and he'd be disappointed he didn't score. Here's Donnelly
what
again.
A brilliant catch by Donnelly over Morrissey that time. Gives it out to Lahey, and Lahey finishes with great assurance. It's a 4th for Richie Lahey when you consider he didn't even start.
Yeah, but brilliant again by Donnelly. What an impact he has made. Vision again, did the simple thing, gave it to the man a better position, and a brilliant pass from for the goal as well. And what an absolute epic game we have here in very poor conditions, and maybe the sun is just coming out now for the finish of it as well.
Level for the 6th time. Who's got the big finish? They must be absolutely exhausted. I'm sure the followers are exhausted, cheering them on from the word go here at 2 o'clock this afternoon. You won't find better entertainment anywhere. And I can assure you that means World Cup, etc., tennis the lot, than this here in Semple Stadium this afternoon. Dan Morrissey. Back out as far as Dermot Burns. Into the corner. It's a difficult one for Casey to get to. He's going to try and keep it in play. The umpire's looking at it from his vantage point. Who got the last touch? It went off the forward. It's a puck out to Kilkenny.
Yeah, and that's where that little bit of composure. Dan Morrissey again having a savage game for having a savage game for Limerick until Richie Lang came on to him at half-time, but he got the ball, gave it to Dermot Burns. Needed to be a gentler pass in the conditions and tucked it wide from way back in his own half-back line.
In the 69th minute, teams are level. Once again, it's Dermot Burns. Carried on here by Kyle Hayes from Kildymo, Paliskenry. Up into the forward line to Aaron Gillan. Lets that bounce, and that was enough for Pádraig Walsh to be able to take it back up onto his stick and to solo forward and to go into the half forward line and into midfield where he'd probably love to be playing anyway. Then TJ Reid takes over, knocks it back here towards Conor Fogarty, has a look up to see what's happening inside. Richie Hogan's inside. They can't get it to him. Instead, it is Dermot Burns for Limerick, and it's not a great clearance. And out comes Hogan, the goal scorer, to knock it in, knock it up into the air, but it's got to drop short, and Nicky Quaid is able to play it back out to a spare defender. That was Dermot Burns, nobody on him. Will O'Donoghue, hand passing. Every attack now, every clearance, every ball has got to be precise. The risks of losing the match are intense. What tension there is around. In the 70th minute, Lennon playing it down. Both teams looking for a winner. And there would be no comeback, you feel, if somebody got a goal at this late stage. Limerick still trying to move it forward, incrementally getting it in here towards Cian Lynch, under pressure from Fogarty, got to stick to it, beat it down. TJ Reid's the next man in. They've got the appetite for it still, even after all the All-Ireland wins, and Limerick so badly want to beat Kilkenny for the first time. Coming in is Dan Morrissey. Taking it in here was Kyle Hayes, can't advance. Donnelly has made a wonderful contribution, gets it back. As far as his captain, Killian Buckley. Buckley up into the air. Limerick have lots and lots of numbers there, and they outnumber Billy Ryan. And they get it under control, and they work it out towards Tom Morrissey. We played the 70 minutes. We're waiting to see how many extra minutes will be added on by the sideline official, who's Garroyd McGrath. 3 minutes are going to be added. Here's a shot from Tom Morrissey in the added time, and he's put it over the bar and put Limerick ahead. A point to front. Limerick lead 122 to 26 points.
But what a score at this stage of the game. He picked up that ball in his own half-back line, Tom Morrissey, and James Maher made a great effort to get back at him, but he just kept going and kept going and kept going, and had the power and the pace at this stage of the game in injury time to score an absolutely brilliant point, his fourth from play.
We've already played 1 minute of the 3. Kilkenny have maybe got one ace left in their pack. There he is, Ger Aylward. Man who got a goal last week against Galway, coming on in place of Billy Ryan. They got to get possession here, Kilkenny, and Limerick have got to stop them and starve them of possession. It's taken by Dan Morrissey. Inside to Will O'Donoghue. On as far as Cian Lynch for Limerick. 1 against 1 up there. Aaron Gillan, and the referee has blown his whistle, and it's got to be a free in, and there could be an insurance point here for Limerick coming up. There should be. They're a point in front in points. It's 26 to 25.
Yeah, there was a foul.
Challenge.
There was a foul in the first ball. I don't know if the free was given then, but it was given later. It was definitely a foul on Aaron Gillan by Paul Murphy.
He wants one last big, huge effort. Will they get the puck out in a moment? They'll probably be 2 points down, and they will definitely need a goal. Can they get it? Will Kilkenny be still in the championship in the next 2 to 3 minutes? Limerick looking to try and advance for the first time, and over Kilkenny since 1973.
It's hard to believe Limerick have only scored 1 point from a free. This will only be their second point in the entire game from free. An incredible score from play they've put up today.
And Gillan has got the 2 of them, part of 5 scores that he's got in all. Look at the clock. There's about 35 seconds remaining. It's now or never for Kilkenny. They've first of all got to win the ball. They've got to get it back. They can't do so. Declan Hannon has taken it all the way up and missed by Peter Casey. Won by Paddy Deegan. He just about manages to remain on his feet and get it back down somewhere. They've all got to go and try and get it. Limerick players there in numbers. Peter Casey and Will O'Donoghue wins it. Back it comes again, away by Declan Hannon. We're almost after playing the 3 minutes. There's got to be one more attack for Kilkenny. It's Owen Murphy. They're behind by 2 points. Only a goal will save them in this year's championship. Down it comes here, and it's taken, and the referee blows his whistle. It's all over, and Limerick have finally beaten Kilkenny after many, many decades where they have been beaten by the Cats in major matches. It's celebration time in the rain in Semple Stadium. There were only a couple of points in it at the end, but what a game it was. John Kiley has taken his side into the semi-final of the All-Ireland Championship in a couple of weeks' time. They're the victors over the mighty Cats. Kilkenny go out of the championship. They got a goal by Richie Hogan in the second half, but it wasn't enough in the end. On the full-time score, it's Kilkenny 1 goal and 22 points. Limerick 27 points. What a match!
Unbelievable, what a win for Limerick. And you know, the turning point was after Richie Hogan's goal. Limerick came back down the field. They scored 3 brilliant points, and Tom Morrissey led the charge. He caught the next puck out, he stuck it over the bar. The last point he got there as well, he epitomised the spirit in this Limerick team. And look, at the game had everything. Limerick could have had 5 goals. We saw Owen Murphy making 4 unbelievable saves. Kilkenny had all those wides that we don't normally associate with them, but they fought at the bitter end. But it's Limerick's day, and you know, from a neutral point of view, you'd have to be delighted to see Limerick getting back to an Ireland semi-final.
Well, it'll be wonderful now to hear from Limerick players after all of that, because I know that Tom Morrissey is down there with Joanne. Let's hear from him.
What a game he had as well. Tom, congratulations first of all. Is that a weight lifted off all of Limerick now?
I'm not sure if it's a weight lifted off. We're not really a group with any burdens of past, like, so we just wanted to go out and I suppose win, and the prize was to get to Croke Park, and that was our target, and we met the objectives today, and please forward we'll go on to the next round again.
Now, you obviously scored plenty of points today, but 2 particularly significant ones. One straight after Richie Hogan's goal, and then one when the game looked like it was going to end all square.
Yeah, I suppose looking back, they're probably important scores. I think the thing going through my head at the time is when you get a setback like that, is just get your hands on the ball as soon as possible and don't let them gain any momentum. And I think that's all that was going through my head when I got the ball. And luckily the 2 of them went over. It was tricky conditions. I think the one straight after the goal slipped off the hurley, went right into the air, but it just had the legs to get over, and it just didn't allow them to kick on. And luckily we got 3 points, I think, after to regain the lead and get a foothold again and really put them back on the back foot going in, that they had to chase the goal instead of us going into injury time. And thank God we prevailed.
It sounds like you really have managed the impossible and tried to ignore everything that everybody's talking about, all the weight of history. Where is that coming from?
Maybe it's a bit of talk of the young batch coming through, and I suppose we don't carry any of that baggage. I suppose with us, we're a different group of players. We want to write our own history, and I think that's really it. Like, we just go out and we express ourselves, and we just release the shackles really when we go out, and we just play with passion and work hard for each other. And there's a great bond there, and that carries us over the line every day.
And how is Croke Park going to suit this team? Are you going to revel in it?
I think so. I think space at Croke Park would definitely suit us. Probably it's similar size here to Thurles, so I don't think much will change. You just have to put all the occasion of that playing in Croke Park aside and go out and win your match when you're there.
Tom Morrissey, outstanding today. Well done.
We played here at Croke Park, and both of them you can see, of course, on the Sunday game. Do you know how exciting that match actually was? At the end of it, I put on somebody else's jacket.
But that's the kind of a game it was, Michael.
It's a nice jacket, mind you. I don't know who's it is.
Here we are, all supposed neutrals, but and the excitement during the day, like, it was the epic to crown all epics, really, you know. And Tom Morrissey there in the end, that's the reason why they won. Look at the composure of that young fella there, you know. The confidence they have gained, I think, from the underage victories and the security they have within the system that John Kiley has built for them, you know. And to come back after Kilkenny seemingly had stung them with that goal from Richie Hogan. But also, Michael, massive congratulations to Kilkenny. What a team, you know. The subs that came on, the older players that were there, everything. There's so many aspects to this game. You just couldn't cover them in an hour, not talking a few minutes. Yeah. It was brilliant stuff.
It is the classic situation where you congratulate the team that wins and you feel for the team that loses. Then they didn't deserve to get.
No, they didn't really. But I said it before the game, Limerick were averaging 25 points a game. So before that was mobile and moving. But when Richie Leahy scored the goal, Richie Hogan scored a goal on the 64th minute. Then that word belief came in. Can Limerick, but can they get through it? But this group of players can. The question was answered today. Said it during the week. You have to be angry and you just have to be bitter. And they were that in the finish, but they were composed as well. Tom Morrissey sauntered up under the new stand at Thurles. We thought, you know, to think cool and then put on the afterburners just enough to swing the Hurley. Humble young man after the game. Very well done to John Kyle.
But his points, Ken, were so important, as Joanne said to him there in that match.
Unreal. It's probably a career-defining win for Limerick. When you're not from the top, say, 2 or 3 counties, to beat Kilkenny is so hard, lads. And to do it as when Kilkenny came back, and it was a brilliant championship game. But Kilkenny were heroic in all fairness, and how they bowed out today to how Wexford bowed out yesterday, they're miles apart, you know. And hats off to Brian Cody and Kilkenny for what they done in the second half.
And he pulled every trick out of the hat, like. But hold on, look at Lahey, how he played again.
I think he had 4 points.
Donnelly, all of them came on.
Winning
He
balls.
did everything possible. So Limerick played against the Kilkenny team at their absolute best. And the first time, believe it, since 1973 that they have beaten Limerick, that they have beaten Kilkenny in the championship. That's just incredible. And for a young team, whatever happens in the rest of the championship, but for a young team to get a start like that in their inter-county career, it's going to be a massive boost them going forward.
So now, Brendan, we know the semi-final pairings. What do we make of it all now?
Well, look, I tell you, if you're Limerick now with the momentum's there, they have to get their feet back down on the ground fairly quick now after today, right? They've beaten Kilkenny, no cups handed out. I'm sure it's what Kylie's saying, the dressing room goes in now. But they're in a seriously good position. Cork, I underestimated Cork a little bit through Munster. I must admit, I thought Clare would beat them in the final, but they're going seriously well. Big field here in Croke Park will suit those two teams. It's going to be a humdinger of a game.
And before today, that was the best game in the championship. Cork and Limerick. What, 28 points to 115.
Yeah.
You know, another. But that was a big continuation
and
of
a great game last week, obviously, as well, between Galway.
That's real championship hurling. You make a mistake today, you're under pressure. That's it. You make a mistake yesterday, there's lads sweeping, there's lads in front of the defenders. There you're one on individual battles, one-on-one. You make a mistake, there's points or goals.
And that's the big satisfaction of Limerick. They won a real game.
Proper game.
Any kind of a tactical game. It was men against men. You fought your own battle, you won your own battle. And to beat Kilkenny doing that, very few have done.
They're used to winning under age. These fellas, no hang-ups. They bet Kilkenny last year on Thurles. Bet them out of the gate around the All-Ireland, you know. So these fellas will relish playing out there, I'd say.
We were talking earlier on about Tom Morrissey's points and the significance they had, obviously, to Limerick's victory.
Yeah, it was always going to be a key thing for Limerick, especially down the home straight, whether they could get somebody to stand up and show a bit of composure. Here in the first half, when I suppose Limerick were under the cost, like we said, they were 4 points down at one stage and came thundering back into the game. He's the man. Look, it's like he's below in the Gaelic grounds at a training session, flicking balls over the bar. But this is the point after the goal from Hogan. You know, I want that ball. He said in the interview, somebody has to do something. And he realised he was the man. Now here he goes, look, off on a little bit of a saunter, you know, and then he gets that little bit of an extra push to take the side step out to the side. And look, just flick the ball over the bar. You don't realise the pressure coming down. Players know that this is the one. This is what we trained for. This is since last October.
Exactly.
This is the ball. And that's the progression, lad.
And the one thing, Brendan, that John Kiley didn't know, he knew they were in great form. He didn't know how to the character. When it really came down to look what happened above in Ennis, and all of us were saying, has this team got any character? Today, when the push came to shove, when they went behind against Kilkenny in the last few minutes, they come along and they score the points.
Boys to men stuff, really.
They seem to enjoy the last few minutes. And look, that's what you play hurling for. You want to be out in them games in Thurles, right?
That's the thing.
The crowd on top of you. Every ball you go to matters. That's what I remember in my career. Them games. It's not the.
That's the great.
That's what it's about.
That's exactly. And you see Clare yesterday, the new team Clare, they're enjoying play. You know, getting away from all these old systems and this you know, con job of sweepers, playing the right type of hurling. That's the whole thing. And we have 4 teams left now. We are guaranteed they're going to play the right type of hurling.
And look, sometimes you've been criticised by saying, look, the lads are old-fashioned, but that's what I enjoy. That's my opinion. I think that's a proper game of hurling. You make a mistake, you're finished. You can't lose your man. That's what it's all about. That's on the edge of your seat hurling.
The last point, John Kyle at the end of the game, he wasn't out in the middle of the pitch, swamped by supporters, hugging everybody. Great achievement. He was standing back. Mission isn't finished yet. And that's the message, and that really impressed me at the end of that game. His boys are back down, ready to come back in here again and win an All-Ireland semi-final.
Well, they are coming back here again. They're coming back for an All-Ireland semi-final. Thanks, lads. So, Ger, Brendan and Ken are leaving us at this point in the programme. A new panel after the break and...
To never be beaten, be faced with that late goal, be faced with the comeback from Kilkenny and to still manage to respond. Where does that come from?
I think it comes from, you know, this group being together since they were probably 13 years of age, you know, for the most part anyway. and we're a really united bunch as well. There's massive camaraderie within the group and great trust and belief in each other in the group as well. Great honesty there, and it's only when you have those kind of attributes and characteristics running through a group of people working together on something like that can happen.
Limerick have the victory, but ours, you know, they fought at the bitter end. Never surrendered, kept going. They showed terrific spirit, terrific everything that's good about any team. They showed it, and it's scant consolation now. But I mean, certainly very, very proud of everything they did, and they really showed everything that we would want them to show.
What an absolutely fantastic game. Jackie, it was hard on anyone that there had to be a loser. Did Limerick deserve to win, do you think?
They did, as you just see by John Kiley. He was actually shattered at the end, but out of pure will and guts and heart, they just dug so deep, and 45 years they've been waiting to beat Kilkenny, and tonight is Limerick's night, and they should celebrate it because they thoroughly deserved the 2 points in the end. I think they just had that bit more in the tank than Kilkenny, and they probably played just a better brand of hurling that suited their needs a little more. But you know, what a battle. We had the rain of 2014 and it was mirrored again today. And when the need was at its most, Limerick came up with the answers.
When Kilkenny took the lead in the 65th minute, did you think they might seal it?
Did I think they might? I thought, here we go again. You know, they're going to do it again. Incredible goal as well, and we'll highlight it in a while. But credit to Limerick, you know, really showed character and really showed what they're about. And these new guys are new breed, and they think differently. And it was an epic days again. And I've used the word too often this year, but in actual fact, I thought today was the best that we've got so far. And by God, have we got some games this year. But I actually thought today surpassed it all in terms of the conditions. We were raving about the tackling here a couple of weeks ago in the 18-all, but today we had the touches of class as well, and the scores and the drama, and really, you know, what a finish.
OK, well, let's look at where Limerick won it. And you felt the first place was in the full back line.
I did, Des. I felt, you know, it's a big call. They started Richie McCarthy the last day, Mike Casey, touch of an injury, but these guys really stood up today. I thought right from the get-go, but we've highlighted the second half here, and we've highlighted Richie English there, who stopped TJ Reid in his tracks. Then Casey comes to meet James Maher, gets in a good block. Again, burst through from Kilkenny. Declan Hannon, suspicion of a free, but they swarm. And Casey's the thick of it. Out comes Sean Finn. Legs, anything, gets a flick across here, takes the ball clean. Now, another time a Limerick player would have gone for a boom of a clearance, but no, spots Cian Lynch and gives it out. Again, ball breaks inside. English does everything right, loses his footing, has the composure to say to Billy Ryan is around me, and finds Diarmaid Burns outside him. And then, you know, shows again the composure here, nearly out midfield. Finds his clubmate Darragh Donovan, and a fantastic score, and I thought they laid the foundations. The half-back line thundered into it after about 15 minutes, but right from the get-go, those three set the tone inside.
From a scoring point of view, Jackie, it was extraordinary. They only got 3 of 27 points from place balls.
Yeah, an amazing stat, 2 frees on one side, and in a game that was really, really tight, Limerick had 24 points in play. They had 11 different scores. But it was the variety to their play, Des. There was high balls going in. Aaron Gallant caught 2 off Paddy Deegans. There was low diagonal ball. Watch this for a ball off Declan Hannon. The one place that Paul Murphy did not want this ball to go, he had all the angles covered. And what does Declan Hannon? Puts it in there, a nightmare for a cornerback. He jinks back out and over the bar, another score for Graham Mulcahy. But it was the variety and the different angles. And here's just a long range, an absolute boomer from Darragh Donovan. He scored 3 points today. Some great scores. And it was just tit for tat all over the place. And this guy, Peter Casey, first touch on, jinks onto his right-hand side and over the bar. And that was a crucial time for Limerick. And they just had the answers. Every time Kilkenny got a score, and even when they got the goal, straight away Limerick went back, got a score. But it was just such a spread. 11 different scores. Like, and the only one who didn't score was Cian Lynch, and he was probably good. And he was good. He was in the thick of everything. So there was just so much to admire about Limerick in an attacking sense.
But in making that point about how good Limerick were all over the field, we then have to acknowledge how Kilkenny were ahead, got pulled back, went behind, looked to be gone, and weren't again.
Yeah, Kilkenny, they're just so consistent with their never say die attitude, with their mantra of attitude, work rate and effort, and no one to the fore more than Owen Murphy today. I was trying to think of a goalkeeping performance as good as this today. From 12 metres out, a rasp of a shot from Garrod Hegarty, point blank save. It reminded me of PJ Ryan in the All-Ireland in 09 against Tipperary. This one again, Aaron Glenn, lovely little jink there, catches the ball, brings it right in. Maybe a bit of a criticism, I hit it at own, but saved it again. And then Kilkenny, just the old guard again, TJ getting the body block in, Richie picking it up, a little flick out to some of the newcomers, Richie Lahey, 4 lovely points today, and they were starting to flow there, we were starting to believe that this could be it. And then up steps John Donnelly, great line, had the options of Liam Blanchfield, but look at this, straight under the legs of Nicky Quaid. Richie Hogan, the cute old fox, you know.
Limerick can learn from that as well with the goal chances they had. I mean, go low.
They had 4, and that was Kilkenny had 1 chance of a goal today, ruthless. Limerick had 4, and that could be the opportunity for John Kiley. You know, lads, when we get to Croke Park, here's where our opportunities are to kick on again.
Fantastic to see Richie Hogan back today with 1-3 days. I mean, we've missed him. He's been such a light up the championship guy over the years. We've just missed him over.
He had a catch in the first half there. He's about 4 foot nothing, and he just went into the clouds and caught it over Declan Hand.
And he's more than 4 foot nothing.
Okay. 4 foot 2 maybe.
Anthony, you were saying to me you see something different about this Limerick team, and the match Jackie referred to when we had the rain in Croke Park, that famous downpour. But you think this Limerick team are a bit...
Oh, sure, look at this. It stands out, and we go back to old times. It was 1914. No, 2014, sorry. The boy was making runs up the field and everything. But Limerick were 2 points up, you know, and there was a Richie Hogan long-range free that just went in around the square. Now, there's still a dispute down there whether Richie Power or Owen Larkin scored it. It'll probably be all over Twitter tonight. I think they give the credit to Richie Power. But, you know, the difference today is straight from the puck out, Tom Morrissey catches, responds straight away, and then Limerick go into another gear. Kyle Hayes doesn't take on a lot of shot, up to the line to his old buddy Casey. What a turn. He's back from a long-term injury. What a throw-in from the bench. Dowling, you know, the New Piercy lads really only coming back into play now, and we're coming to All-Ireland semi-final. Gillane, brilliant vision, sees the space. Dowling could have even gone in with this ball, but a crucial score to tie it up. And, you know, this was something else. I mean, Kilkenny had gone a bit blind at this stage. Long-range ball. Sean Finn doesn't panic, gives it to Dermot Burns. This is fascinating, Des. This is unbelievable, because Tom Morrissey, what a game he played. You know, gets a ball. I think he nearly slows up kind of half deliberately to draw James Maher in. James Maher goes for the tackle then. Shades of 96 with Kieran Carey for me anyway. It's like flashbacks and nightmares. But what a score to win it. I know they got a free afterwards, but you know, it was a 60-yard run almost, and a brilliant finish off his right. And that's to me a sign of new treaty men, like the, you know,
very mature performance.
Absolutely.
Like Tom Morrissey there, Aaron Gillane, not doing erratic things, getting their head up and playing what they see in front of them. And the right thing was to give the ball all the time.
Yeah,
what a score.
We've heard it from a lot of other pundits throughout the year that Limerick are still not taking the right options in front of goal, but certainly you couldn't criticise them of that today. Like.
Hard to choose a man of the match from so many sterling displays.
Yeah, you know, the first one we went for was Owen Murphy of Kilkenny. I mean, what a performance. The shots he saved, his puck outs, the 2 saves, one particularly from Garrod Hegarty that we spoke about, and Aaron Gillane, 3 in total. That his definite goals he stopped out with 9 points. The second was Dan Morrissey, who was just immense today. Wing back, caught ball, set up scores, was just a rock there. Kilkenny got no change out of that wing. And the other, his brother, Tom Morrissey, 4 points today, but got 2 crucial scores, one after the Kilkenny goal and the last one we seen. So, you know, they were the 3 that we felt.
Are we heading for Glenmore or a hand with this?
Well, I've bad news for the stripy man beside me here.
We went to blows and all, the plaster over him.
Well, 'tis a night for up a hand, and the spuds are boiling for 2 brothers, you know, the home of the great Mick Mackey, and very hard to choose between them. But we felt overall maybe Dan ruled the skies and dominated the game right from the get-go from Limerick, and he really set the platform for Hannon and Burns to thunder into the game, and a deserved man of the match for Dan Morrissey.
Okay, well, before he went home to boil the spuds, let's hear what Dan had to say when he spoke with Joanne afterwards.
Dan, congratulations. You were faced with a rather daunting looking Kilkenny forward line today, but it doesn't appear like this Limerick team is daunted by much, are they?
No, in fairness, I thought we all played very well as a team together. Even when Kilkenny got the goal there near the end, we kept our heads up. We got the next score, and everyone's kind of buying into the work rate. And this year, everyone's really enjoying playing, and they're showing that out in the field. Then, at 4 teams left in it, there's nothing going to be between any of the 4. The puck of the ball, as you saw today, Kilkenny. There's 7 or 8 teams in this championship, and any day anyone can beat anyone. So, yeah, it's still all to play for.
No doubt about it. Congratulations, though, Dan. You are the Bord Gáis Energy Man of the Match, and Circa Fenna Sheehan from Bord Gáis Energy has your award.
Yeah, well done to Dan. Well, still to come on a packed Sunday game. All of the weekend football